Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Wheaton Thunder Sports Network, where you're joining us for tonight's men's soccer matchup between the Wheaton Thunder and the University of Chicago Maroons. Thank you for joining us today at Joe Bean Stadium here on the campus of Wheaton College. My name is Abram Erickson, here alongside Justin Majeski and John Mark Mills, and we're excited to bring you this matchup tonight on WTSN. It's one that surely has implications as it sees both teams finishing up their last couple games before heading into conference play. The Thunder coming up with 2 wins at home in their last couple games against Iowa Wesleyan and Albion. And we also see University of Chicago coming in after a tie against Rowan, and the Maroons currently with a 2-0-3 record, and the Thunder sitting at 4-2. Now, this University of Chicago team is certainly a strong defensive squad, only giving up 4 goals throughout this entire season. Justin, what do you think that means that the Thunder are going to have to do tonight?
I mean, it's going to be imperative that the Thunder come out and strike early. All 4 of the goals that the University of Chicago Maroons have conceded have come in the first 6 minutes of their matchups. So you got to strike early and really set the pace of the match, from the get-go, because if you don't, then you're going to allow the U Chicago side to settle into their play and start dominating it. U Chicago lost a couple offensive All-Americans in this past season, so their squad isn't necessarily as strong as it was this past season, where they made it all the way to the national semifinal game. But I still don't think that Wheaton should look past this game by any means. It's definitely their toughest matchup so far, and they're going to have to bring out their best to be able to get the W here.
Yeah, and like we mentioned, the Thunder 2 more games at home here before they head off for 1 game away, and then it's back to conference play here in the CCIW, so we'll see them face off against the University of Chicago tonight. Then it's Washington University here at Joe Bean Stadium on the 20th. They move away to face Lake Forest on the 24th, and then CCIW play opens up away at Elmhurst on September 28th. So this, like we said, big implications as teams heading into tonight. The Thunder want to improve that record from 4-2 up to 5-2, while the Maroons look to go to 3-0-3. Now, interesting, we mentioned before that this U Chicago team sitting with 3 ties on the year, and out of their 5 games, 4 have gone into double overtime. Their first game against McAllister was a double overtime tie, then against St. Thomas. Their second game also a 0-0 tie, and then most recently their 3-2 win over Hope was a double overtime game, and their tie against Rowan, which was a 1-1 tie, was also went into the 110th minute.
Another thing just to note in that last game against Rowan was the amount of physicality that was experienced during that game. I believe there was 40 fouls committed combined by the 2 teams there in that game, and I think that just goes to show how, packed in and defensive this U Chicago squad is. I think 26 of those fouls were by Rowan, but nonetheless, this U Chicago team isn't afraid to get physical. I think another thing that Wheaton needs to be wary of is just giving up free kicks in this game. U Chicago is such a tactically and sound team that if you're giving up free kicks, a lot of their goals come off of headers from just well-slotted balls into the box. If you give U Chicago time to draw something up, then they're going to capitalize on it, so you need to set the pace, and that involves owning the pace of play during the game, avoiding stoppages and throw-ins, corner kicks. If you give those up, U Chicago will win the game, regardless of if you're on a 14-game home win streak or not, Abram.
Thank you, Justin. We are now going to send it down to the field, and public address announcer Rusty Lindsay for the introductions of the players and the national anthem. We'll see you back up here on the Wheaton Thunder Sports Network following the national anthem.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Joe Bean Stadium on the campus of Wheaton College for tonight's non-conference matchup featuring the visiting Maroons of the University of Chicago. The winner played tonight with a record of 2-0-3, and your Wheaton College Thunder entering play tonight with a record of 4-2. At this time, let's meet the starters. First for the visiting Maroons. In goal, wearing number 1, a junior from Harrison Township, Michigan, Aaron Katsimplis. Number 3, a freshman from Charlotte, North Carolina, Richard Gillespie. Number 5, a junior from Bellisonwood, Pennsylvania, Isaiah Holquist. Number 6, a junior from Lincolnshire, Illinois, Ben Brandt. Number 7, a sophomore from Kansas City, Missouri, Kyle Ruark. Number 10, a sophomore from Lisbon, Portugal, Vicente Mateus. Number 12, a sophomore from Northbrook, Illinois, Sahil Modi. Number 17, a freshman from Allen Park, Michigan, Cameron Bloy. Number 21, a junior from West Orange, New Jersey, Bryce Millington. Number 23, a freshman from Atlanta, Georgia, Michael Johnson. And number 30, a junior from Jonesboro, Tennessee, Scott Lick. The Maroons are coached by Pat Flynn. And now the starting lineups for your Wheaton College Thunder. In goal, wearing number 32, a junior from Kalamazoo, Michigan, Haston Biddlecombe. Number 9, a sophomore from Hoffman Estates, Illinois, Joey Sopakiotis. Number 11, a junior from Cornelius, North Carolina, A.J. Moyes. Number 14, a freshman from Highland Park, Illinois, Michael Groza. Number 15, a freshman from Magnolia, Texas, Dylan Eder. Number 17, a senior from Bedford, Massachusetts, Peter Whalen. Number 22, a senior from Hawthorne, New Jersey, Will Woodfin. Number 23, a junior from Burlington, Iowa, Justin Hill. Number 26, a junior from Portage, Michigan, Ryan Melgar. Number 29, a sophomore from Hamilton, New Zealand, Stafford Dowling. And number 37, a freshman from Highlands Ranch, Colorado, Ben Ferraro. Wheaton is coached by Jake DeClute. At this time, we ask you please rise, and gentlemen, remove your caps as we honor America with the playing of our national anthem.
Welcome back up top.
Fans, for your convenience,
here
the
before the
concession
Wheaton
stand is
Thunder
open, and
men's
restroom
soccer
facilities are also
matchup
available
between
underneath the football grandstand
your
at
Wheaton
McCullough
College
Stadium.
Thunder and the University of
Directly to the west
Chicago
of Joe Wheaton Stadium.
Maroons. Thanks for joining us on the Wheaton Thunder Sports Network. Once again, I'm Abram Erickson with Justin Majeski and John Mark Mills, and we're excited to bring you tonight's action between the 6th-ranked Maroons and the home Thunder. The teams taking the field now, the Thunder in the all-white, white tops and white bottoms, and then the Maroons in the gray tops with the maroon bottoms. We're excited for this one to get going tonight, and it's certainly a matchup that the Thunder are looking to capitalize on. There's history between these two teams, and as we look back into history, this is the 73rd meeting between Wheaton and University of Chicago. Wheaton holds the all-time advantage, 48 wins, 16 losses with 8 ties, but in the last 4 years, it's been all University of Chicago as they've won the last 3 years in a row. Most recently, last year, a 4-0 victory down at UChicago.
Yeah, and a very convincing win, too, at that, Abram. UChicago dominated the game. I got the opportunity to go to that game myself and just, witness it firsthand. And it was pretty apparent that UChicago likes dictating the pace of play. They're a team that isn't afraid to pass the ball around you and then find those openings if you're giving them. So Wheaton's got to be very disciplined, both offensively and defensively, to both take their chances and minimize, UChicago's ability to create chances out of nothing. Additionally, UChicago, like we said, was very solid defensively. You see UChicago coming out here super strong from the get-go, but they also have a very solid goalkeeper, and I think we'll see that from the start. But UChicago already off here to a quick start as they cross this ball into the box.
Moyes attempts the header but doesn't get it. This one crossed dangerously front of the box, and then immediately sent in with just about 18 seconds off the clock. The Maroons open this one up. That's Vicente Mateus with the first goal of tonight's game, and the Maroons take the lead 1-0.
Yeah, and Wheaton just gets caught sleeping here as U Chicago presses this ball up immediately. Not clear there as A.J. Moyes fails to make the header there, and then this ball just bounces all the way through the box. Haston Biddlecombe unable to get to that shot as he's shielded by just so many bodies in the box. So U Chicago there with a quick start, just 18 seconds into this first half, and not the start Wheaton was hoping to get.
Ball immediately played over to Moyes on this near side. He'll go back to Melgar, who will switch the field over to Hill just outside the box. Melgar now looking for space. Opts to go back to Biddlecombe. And Biddlecombe will take his time to send it over to Hill on the far
The
side.
Chicago goal scored by number 10, Vicente Mateus, his third of the year.
Played up to
Mateus
Ferraro
the
and
assist to number
then into
17,
the middle to
Cameron
Dowling.
Bloy.
Dowling
Mateus
sends it
from
over to
Bloy.
Whalen.
And if you're Wheaton, you haven't really been in this position before where you go down so early, Abram, especially in this season. They haven't seen that yet, so I'm interested to see, as Wheaton, what's your response here in this upcoming 5 minutes? I think that's going to be imperative for them.
Now the ball goes back over to Justin Hill, who will go all the way back to Biddlecombe. And now Melgar dribbles towards the middle of the field. Wants to send the ball all the way over to the other side to Dowling, but that's knocked down by Lick. And now Ferraro gets a touch on it. Sends it up to Dowling, who's marked by two defenders. Has Ferraro streaking in front of him, but uses some nice skill to get the ball over to Groza. Groza back to Eder. The Thunder remain in control as Groza passes up ahead, but that one's taken away by Gillespie. Gillespie now streaking up that far sideline. He has Groza on his left hip. Groza takes a little bit of a trip there as he slows it down and looks to get it out to one of his teammates. Little misplay on the ball there as the ball ricochets, and it's controlled by Ferraro. That'll roll off the sideline and out of touch as it'll be a throw in here. We'll see Ferraro be the one to take it.
U Chicago's game plan offensively, if you haven't been able to notice yet, is they like to streak down the sideline there and use those opportunities to be able to get headers. But they're also going to take these, if you make mistakes in the middle and capitalize on those opportunities, as Wheaton almost did there. Will Woodfin tries to clear the ball up there and wins the throw-in for the Thunder. But I think the Thunder are just a little excited coming into this match. There's, like you said, a lot of history here, especially since Wheaton hasn't won in the past 3 years. I think they just need to calm down a little bit and find their own pace of play and not let this, frantic U Chicago team dictate the way that they're playing. U Chicago likes to constantly press, and it's going to put Wheaton under a lot of pressure, forcing them to make potentially bad passes here. So if Wheaton can just keep their head, they'll be fine.
Ball comes over to Melgar from Ferraro. Already we see this back line for the Thunder very active tonight. Ball sent up ahead by Hill up to Dowling. Dowling controls it with Lick in front of him. Makes a move right into the corner of the box. Now works back inside, fires off a shot, and that's deflected. Sapikiotis got a touch, but Lick able to recover and clear that ball out. Ferraro now passes inside, tipped by Whalen and then cleared out by Bloy. Ball brought up by Johnson and passed ahead. Now Hill vying for the ball against Kyle Ruark. Ruark goes back to Mateus, the goal scorer here, as the clock ticks down to 41 minutes left in this first half. Just 4 minutes gone. Millington gets the ball over to Bloy. Bloy crosses the ball inside. That's headed out by Justin Hill, and Will Woodfin looks to control, passing up to Peter Whalen, but his pass is intercepted by Holquist. Maroons in control once again. This ball sent up into the corner, a through ball looking for Johnson. Johnson able to track it down just before it goes off the end line. And Lick will come over and accept that pass. Sent inside the box, but knocked out by Melgar, but now it's Mateus that has it around the top of the 18. Pass inside, back out to Mateus, and now Bloy. Bloy on the near corner of this box, fires off a shot, and that one will be wide right. The Thunder will have a goal kick here.
U Chicago does such a good job in the final third of being patient and waiting to take their chances. You see them just working the ball across the top of the box, not getting too eager there, and then trying to play balls in the box, looking for that back post because they know they have people crashing for those. So Thunder has to be strong in the air today and careful with these passes in the back. They give another turnover here. That'll be a UChicago throw-in.
Ball almost taken away by Modi there, as it was Ruark that disrupted that pass from Justin Hill. Ball is sent in now, and we'll have our first foul of the game, as it looks like Modi was fouled there. Ball will be set down for a free kick in a nice spot.
Another good opportunity here for UChicago, because they're so strong in the air.
It'll be Mateus standing over this one, along with Ben Brandt. We'll see which one opts to take it here.
You got height in the box with Gillespie there on the back post. Justin Hill there to clear, though, before the onrushing Gillespie can make it there.
Will Woodfin clears this ball out near midfield, but a nice touch by Holquist sends it up to Bloy. Bloy trying to get that ball behind Melgar, but he's able to step in front, and now Bloy recovers over to Millington, and Millington back over to Bloy. Ball sent up over to Mateus, and Biddlecombe comes soaring in to pick off that pass. Now it's Dowling out on the far side on the break. Dowling using some nice skill to get past Lick. He has space in front of him, wanted to pass it ahead to Sipikiotis, but pass was a little off target. Gillespie was able to get there. Now Sipikiotis regains possession, but has it stripped away from him as Mateus tries to clear it away. The Thunder regain control as Groza passes this one inside the box, looking for Woodfin, but a clearance all the way almost out towards midfield. Ruark got a touch on it, but the Thunder came streaking back in, and now taken away once more by Modi, and we see a lot of change of possession here in this one as both teams not able to string passes together. Now it's Bloy coming up the near sideline. Bloy back to Millington, and now it's over to Brandt. We see the University of Chicago working the ball throughout their back line. Pass up ahead to Ruark. Ruark goes down, and now it's a fight between Eder and Ruark. Brandt able to come in and muscle that ball away from Dylan Eder. Through ball sent up ahead. That's Johnson. Johnson fires a shot off of one bounce, and Haston Biddlecombe able to get on top of that one, and he'll have a goal kick now with 37 minutes and about a half to go in this first half.
And that chance is far more dangerous than I think it looked there on screen. Wheaton's got to be careful not to get caught out with their two center backs playing flat across the back, because UChicago isn't afraid to play diagonal through balls there over the top, either to the corner or there towards the corner of the box, because the talent of this UChicago strikers is just, you know, not to be reckoned with, or to be reckoned with. So if you give an opportunity like that on the top of the box more than once, they're going to take it, you know, one of these times and actually put a decent shot here on frame instead of something that it's easy for Biddlecombe to deal with, like that pass shot here.
Dangerous pass, almost taken away by the Maroons. Sipikiotis vying for this ball right around the center circle. He flicks it up and gets it over to Dowling on the far side. Dowling now getting the ball to Ferraro, and immediately it's Gillespie that comes up and clears this one all the way out off the sideline, and the Thunder will have a throw-in. Ferraro, the one to take it, and this University of Chicago team looks eager to pounce as soon as he gets it in, and they will, as Groza makes a nice turn to get past his defender. Groza back over to Eder. Eder passing to Moyes here at the bottom of your screen, back to Melgar. And we see it's number 7, Kyle Ruark, doing a lot of that pressing up top, and he's been successful a couple of times already in picking off passes. Ball into Peter Whalen. Whalen back over to Hill.
And Wheaton's already beginning to look a lot more comfortable here as they play a great ball through to the back. Will Woodfin
takes control around the box. Sends it over to Groza. Groza lines up a shot that skips twice but is saved by Katsimpalis.
Unfortunately there, I think if Groza would have called that a little bit earlier, you would have had time to secure a good shot. It looks like a bit of a miscommunication on the top of the box. Groza there vying with Whalen for that. He gets the ball, and I think he thinks Whalen's going for it as well, but gets a shot off nonetheless, and not a bad shot, just lacked the power to get past the outstretched arms there of Katsimpalis.
Millington now with it after Katsimpalis' goal kick. Moyes tries to keep that one in play. He's not able to. It'll go back to the Maroons. Millington comes inside to Ruark. Now Woodfin sends this one off the sideline.
And Kent Simplest tallying quite a few shutouts here over the course of his career. I believe, in the past couple of years in all of his starts, close to 15 or 16, 15 I believe. Yeah, 15 shutouts, which is just honestly a crazy number for a goalkeeper to be able to pose in a competitive league playing in the UAA.
Now ball tried to cross in by Bloy. Moyes able to deflect it with his body. The score still 1-0 after the Maroons strike early within the first 20 seconds of this one. They're up 1-0 with 34.5 minutes to go in this first half. They've got a throw in right now deep in Thunder territory. Looks like they're going to treat it almost like a corner kick here. Millington throws this one high up into the box. Gillespie gets a foot on it, sends it over, and that's Ben Ferraro that narrowly keeps that one out of the goal. Ball flicked back up inside the box, and Biddlecombe able to get his hands on this one.
Biddlecombe here slowing the play down, allowing his team to get their shape back.
Biddlecombe now will send this one well past midfield, and Sapikiotis vied against Gillespie for that, but Gillespie able to win the 50-50 ball. Eder comes down with it around midfield and passes up ahead to Dowling. Dowling has Sapikiotis in front of him, and he's marked by Lick. Some fancy footwork as he tries to get around his defender. Mateus comes and forces a takeaway. Mateus gets the ball up ahead to Johnson, and now Johnson is the one that stalls the ball around midfield and gets it back to Modi. Now Gillespie will go back to his own teammate here, and the Thunder want to pressure. Joey Sapikiotis almost coming up with a disruption of that play against Holquist, but the Thunder will come down with it right about the start of the final third. It's cleared back out across midfield, and Johnson lets that go off the sideline. It will be a Maroons throw-in. He's going to let Scott Lick do the duties here as he'll send it up in the middle towards Ruark. Johnson now works past Ferraro. Johnson looks like he wants to cross, gets past Ferraro with a great move, crosses it inside over to Bloy, and that ball dangerously batted around before it goes off at the end line.
I couldn't tell who got their foot on it. It looked almost like Peter Whalen there. Hit that back towards the sideline, just trying to get it out. And deflecting there off of the chest of maybe the U Chicago player out for a goal kick. Dangerous opportunity there for the U Chicago Maroons as they nearly get on the end of that cross.
Biddlecombe's goal kick is going to be touched first by Moyes, and Moyes couldn't quite control it. Took a big touch and just barely rolled off the sideline. Looks like we do have a foul, so the ball will go back to the Thunder. Here, Coach DeClute telling Biddlecombe that it was a great ball to Moyes on the sideline, and the Thunder will get to keep possession here. Coming into the middle to Eder is Hill, and now that ball's taken away. Up ahead to Modi. Modi all alone at the top of the box. Streaks past and fires off a shot that's just wide left.
And that opportunity resulting from a poor pass from Eders there in the middle. Eders not able to get back there and make the tackle. That one very well could have ended up in the back of the net as that skimmed past the far left post there. So Wheaton escaping there still just with the 1-goal deficit to overcome. Has nearly 14 minutes here have expired in this first half. This is for those of you just tuning in, this is the Wheaton Thunder Sports Network. Justin Majeski alongside John Mark Mills and Abram Erickson here. This is the matchup between the Wheaton College Thunder and the U Chicago Maroons here, who tallied a goal in the first 18 seconds of this game.
Now ball sent up towards the middle dangerously as it's flicked up ahead. Eder looking to vie against Modi for this one. Modi keeps control of it, goes over to Mateus. Mateus works his way up towards the corner of the box and sends it to the corner, and that's deflected off
Chicago, corner
the
kick.
Thunder. It'll be a corner kick, the first one of the game for the University of Chicago Maroons. This is one place where they've really outshined their opponents, as they've had 39 corner kicks on the year opposed to only giving up 15 to their opponents here. So a place that they've capitalized on often throughout this season. We do see a player standing there short. We'll see what Ben Brandt opts to do. Brandt sends it deep, looking to go far post, curls this one around. Eder gets a head on it, but the ball stays inside the box. Johnson's on top of this one as he's marked by Woodfin. He'll go back to Millington. Millington sends this one curling towards the top of the box. Headed up in the air by Gillespie, but right at the arms of Biddlecombe.
Gillespie there just using the height advantage on that back post against Farrar to get that header redirected on the frame, but he was so far out in the box that that one would have taken a spectacular header to be able to test Biddlecombe there.
All works inside, and now a pass up. Wanted to get it to Ruark. Woodfin able to get the pass from Whalen and start a counterattack. Over to Dowling. It pass brings him back towards the center line, and he tried to do a nice pass back to Ferraro, but it was knocked away by Holquist.
I like the creativity there from Dowling to try to create something, but it was a bit too telegraphed there and didn't have enough pace on it. That could have been a costly turnover there in the middle if the Chicago Maroons would have been able to generate some pace down the sideline from that.
Now ball goes up to Moyes. Moyes took a nice touch that almost was able to dump it off to Sapikiotis, but now Groza goes back and his pass is taken away by Modi. Now it's the Maroons heading the other way. Bloy goes up to Johnson.
Shaped flat across the back. There's a lot of space on the back post as number 7, Kyle Ruark, nearly gets on the end of that. Wheaton needs to be more careful on their marks here on the back post especially. They've got to have their wingers work to get back to help out there, because you can't rely too much on your left and right backs being able to cover 2 men on the back post, especially when players like Ruark are working so hard to get in behind.
Now 28 minutes to go in this half as the score remains 1-0 in favor of the Maroons. Ball touched into the middle by Mateus, and now Mateus wants to get past Hill. He's not able to, but it will be a corner kick as that deflected off of Hill before it went off the end line. So we see University of Chicago with their second corner kick of the night, and their second in just a couple of minutes, as Brandt will once again stand over it. We saw them opt to go far post last time. Once again, they have Mateus standing near this ball, but it's Brandt with 2 arms up in the air. Looks like similar action here as it headed by Melgar, I believe, the first time, and that means it'll be another corner kick on the other side.
Wheaton under a lot of pressure here in this first half. If they want to be able to create chances, then they're going to have to take the pressure down the other side too, just to give themselves a break.
Looks like this time the Maroons will send Mateus to stand over this one. Brandt will be on his right-hand side. Mateus, once again, tries to curl this one around. Punched out by Biddlecombe, but he's down on the ground, and the ball's still in the box. Johnson wants to chip this one up ahead. It's knocked into the air by Whalen, and then bicycle kick attempted by University of Chicago player. Now crossed inside, deflected away by Melgar, and it'll continue to stay with the Maroons.
If you're the Wheaton College Thunder right now, this onslaught's just so tiring for you defensively. It wears you out, and just the amount of mental taxation too, just to be under that kind of stress level. It's difficult, especially for goalkeeper Biddlecombe here, who's been frantically moving around the box trying to get these crosses away.
Short to Holquist. Holquist seeks to cross it in, and that header will be off to the right side as
in the game for Wheaton, number
Johnson
18, Alessandro D'Argento, and number 24, Silas Galval.
See 2 substitutions now for the Thunder. It's Alessandro D'Argento and Silas Galval. They will replace Woodfin and Whalen. Similar substitution pattern to what we've seen in the past. D'Argento and Galval getting some time early in this one. Biddlecombe goes over to Hill on that far side, but he'll go right back to Haston as Haston looks up. Moyes has been open plenty of times on this near sideline. They just found it tough to get it to him, and now that's exactly where Biddlecombe will go as he makes a nice touch up ahead to Galval. Galval has Sapikiotis in front of him. He sends the through ball up that way. Gillespie able to cut that one away and send that off the sideline for a Wheaton throw-in. Moyes now waiting for the rest of his team to get in position before he makes this throw-in. He has Spikiotis in the corner along with Galvao, and then in front of him is D'Argento.
Good run from Spikiotis there, and he breaks free. Good shot, but deflected wide.
Now it's back to Millington. Millington wants to go up to Ruark. Melgar steps in front. Thunder still on the attack. Out to Spikiotis in the near corner. He crosses it inside, looking for Galvao, but it's headed away by Gillespie. Melgar will control, and Coach DeClute mentioning to slow it down a little bit. Cross to the top of the box where Groza will take control of it. Groza has Dowling on that outside, and he's trying to get inside, and there's the foul awarded by the referee as Lick just clearly had both hands on Dowling, not allowing him to get inside the box.
Yeah, and I believe if Lick wouldn't have been using his hands there, Dowling could have broken in behind there for a good opportunity for Wheaton, whether that be a cross or a shot on frame. But Wheaton showing their first little bit of offensive pressure here, and 2 quality plays there as they put the pressure on for nearly a minute against U Chicago. And this free kick here in a really great position here for either a shot or a cross into the box. I'll be interested to see what Wheaton does, as U Chicago clearly has the physicality advantage here and the height advantage in the box.
Yeah, University of Chicago setting up a 3-man wall that's marked a couple yards back from where they started. This ball probably sitting 2 or 3 yards outside the corner of the 18. And that ball goes straight into the wall as D'Argento now sends it up to Ferraro. Ferraro goes over to Melgar. Melgar tried to get a foot on that one. It was bouncing up, but not able to get solid contact on that one as the Maroons escape from the Thunder's first dangerous chance of the night.
I really like that for Melgar, regardless of if he put that shot on frame. Just in the past few minutes of his, connection with these offensive plays, Melgar made a couple key stops there, was just getting involved. I like to see that too from our center back there.
Ball will be with the Maroons deep in Thunder territory again, as Millington will be the one to throw this in. Again, now we see them bring up Gillespie to come all the way into the box. Gillespie, a big, tall player standing at 6'3". We've seen him already try to get his head on the ball on a couple of these corner kicks. They look to go right at him here, but Eder sends it away up to D'Argento, who whiffs, and the Maroons will send it back to midfield. Lick goes up ahead, and Moyes will knock it down and then go back to Groza in the middle, but we see Holquist come over and sky one all the way to Biddlecombe. Ball goes out to Hill. Hill trying to pass it over to Ferraro. Ferraro not quite able to keep that one in play as he tried to deftly touch it with that left foot, but not able to take the touch that kept that ball.
And those little turnovers, Abram, have been proving costly for Wheaton here, just in the middle and the defensive back for us, as U Chicago's been able to capitalize on a lot of these opportunities, not necessarily on the scoreboard, but in opportunities.
Now Bloy brings it inside of the box. Works to his right, fires off his shot. It's deflected by his own teammate as Ruark got in front of that shot. Moyes comes, and now he's taken down. Moyes falls directly on top of the ball. We'll see if the referee deems this to be a foul, a handball.
We'll see here quickly on the replay. Moyes takes his first touch. That looks like it's a good tackle there by Rourke, and Moyes, believing that's a foul, just falls on that, puts his hands over it. And I don't believe there'll be a card for that, but it definitely is a free kick here for the U Chicago Maroons.
Yeah, and as you were saying, Justin, that's another turnover, and you just cannot have this amount of turnovers against a team of this caliber.
And not just turnovers, these are free kick opportunities in really dangerous positions on a team that capitalizes on heading.
Mateus sends this one in to the far side, headed out by Melgar, who does a nice job to elevate above the offense. Now Ferraro takes control of it, sends it up to Spikiotis. Spikiotis takes one touch and then controls it. Ball goes off the sideline, but it was deflected out by Bloy. Goes into Groza. The Thunder looking to push here. Certainly, they're still trying to erase this 1-0 deficit. Spikiotis up to Groza, but it's a errant pass, not able to connect. Now this one's sent up ahead. This is dangerous as Johnson looks to race ahead. Johnson gets the ball inside, and great deflection by Biddlecombe as he makes an aggressive play. but the ball across back inside of the box. Modi is there along with Mateus. Mateus takes control. Mateus passing over to his teammate, and now ball sent inside. Modi there, heading it across and not able to get the volley back into the goal.
Ending in for Wheaton, number 36,
That was
Drew Beamer.
Michael Johnson that attempted it there.
Those were a scary few moments there if you're a Wheaton College Thunder fan. Well slotted ball back across. Number 23 there, not able to get. Number 23, Michael Johnson, not able to get there on the volley. But Biddlecombe there, making a good stop earlier, all off of his positioning there. Good recognition there from the junior goalkeeper.
Ferraro up to Dowling. We just saw another substitution. This time it's Drew Beamer coming in for Ryan Melgar. Beamer will be slotted in that center back position. Moyes signaling to Groza to come in, and he's not able to connect on the pass. Gilvao now trying to provide some resistance, but Brandt sends the ball up ahead to Bloy. Bloy goes over to Modi. Modi over the far side to Johnson.
And Wheaton really flat across the back right now. This could be very dangerous.
Johnson into Lick. Lick attempts a shot. Excuse me, that was Johnson as Lick passed it back over to Johnson for that shot, but it's wide.
Chicago switching the ball so fast that the Thunder are struggling to keep up with the pace of play there defensively. They don't know. They lose their marks too fast because they have one guy pulled up, and he's not getting back fast enough for the next guy to come back out. So it just makes your shape all messed up and gives a lot of opportunities for through balls to be played there across the back.
D'Argento getting the touch and going over to Dowling. Dowling work his back across midfield into his own half. Ball comes over to Beamer. Beamer wants to go to Groza in the middle, but he's not able to control the pass as Gillespie clears this one out, and it goes up to Hill. Hill sends this up in the air, but Modi uses some great positioning against Eder, and now Eder called for the foul as he went over the back of Modi.
Can't use your hands like Eders did there. Another foul in the middle of the field here. Chicago chooses to go with a quick kickoff here. There's a lot of space down the sideline. They do find him out wide there.
Millington in the corner. Millington tries to slot a cross in there, but Beamer is able to send that one away. Ball comes over to Holquist. Holquist wanted to flick it up inside to Bloy, but a nice job by Moyes on defense. Galvao trying to push through and split a couple of defenders, but he goes down there, and that's going to be a foul against Brandt. Brandt's not happy about that one.
Yeah, and Galvao there, I think, took a little bit of an acting class because he doesn't receive much of a touch here, but that arm there reaching out was just enough for him to be able to milk that and get a nice free kick opportunity for the Wheaton College Thunder. Gives them a little bit of time to reset, too, as Galvao is running out most of his options there as the Chicago defense closed in around him.
Groza standing over this one as the clock ticks down below 17 minutes. Groza, ball not enough power on it to get it up to where his teammates were positioned, and it will stay with the Thunder as Beamer goes back to Biddlecombe.
Yeah, Wheaton right now just isn't able to generate as much offense off of these free kicks as Chicago has been able to. The one series where they had a free kick, they were able to generate multiple corner kicks off of it, and Wheaton just cannot do the same.
Now, Beamer inside. Now, Groza using his body nicely to keep Brandt from getting that one. Now Groza up to Galvao. Galvao tries to get a pass over to D'Argento, and D'Argento has to work all the way back to get it over to Moyes. Moyes crosses this ball inside. Dowling's making a run. That ball off of his head, but Sapikiotis will keep it inside the box. Sapikiotis trying to cross into Dowling, but ball not able to reach him as now Groza tips it inside. Cleared out. Ball bouncing back towards midfield, and we see Ruark goes flying there as he was touched by Ferraro. Free kick for the University of Chicago again with 15 minutes and 40 seconds to go. Brandt will tip that one over to Gillespie, and Gillespie will go back to Holquist.
The substitute for both the Wheaton College Thunder and the Chicago Maroons lineup is its number 9, Peyton Lane, and number 2, Mr. Wingate, who stand there on the sideline on the bottom of your screen.
Lick works to cross this one inside. It's knocked away by Justin Hill, but all he can do is send it off the end line for another Maroons corner kick.
Into the game for Chicago, number 9, Peyton Lane. For Wheaton, number 2, Missiker Wingate. Chicago corner kick.
We see number 9, Lane, enter the game, and he'll replace Kyle Ruark, and that's a massive size difference as we see Lane, the 6'5 sophomore, replacing Ruark, who stands at 5'7", and so Lane certainly a big body to put in the box here, especially at a corner kick like this. Ball goes far post where Millington is waiting. Millington bats this one up in the air, but Galval, the one to get a second touch. Millington lets this go off the sideline and brings it back into Holquist. Holquist flicked up in the air, headed away by Hill. And now Ferraro's the only player in the vicinity. He's able to scoop that one up and try to flick it up ahead to Groza, but pass is not on target.
And another substitute for the Wheaton College Thunder, Wes Bavard, stands in the sideline waiting to get his chance to make his mark on this first half.
Nice job by Hill to anticipate that pass and get in the way, deflecting it up ahead to D'Argento. D'Argento goes to Galval. Galval not quite able to make a touch. And that ball rolls harmlessly off the sideline back to the Maroons. There's D'Argento once again tipping it out.
I want to see Wheaton College start to play simple, two-touch passing. You know, you don't need to work it that hard. It doesn't need to be complicated. Just work it back and forth. If you're playing just like you do in practice with those simple passing patterns and triangles and like those passing circles, then, you know, you can apply it to this bigger field here and get the same results. I think they're just overcomplicating things right now.
And the Thunder want a handball as this ball is passed up ahead to Lane. Biddlecombe races out and is able to make contact with this one, sending it far past midfield. Flicked up over the head. Sapikiotis trying to get inside, and it looks like that was Gillespie that provided just enough of a bump on the shoulder of Sapikiotis to impede his progress as he looked to get the ball. But it's Simplest that gets there first. Through ball played up, and now it's a race between Beamer and Lane, but they'll both give up on that one as they'll see it roll off the line. Bavard will check in, see who he's replacing. Looks like it's going to be on the far side, Ferraro. Ferraro gets off the field there. It looks like the University of Chicago wanting to get another substitute in. They won't be able to do so before the whistle, but it's number 25, George Bronco. Ball played in from Moyes, and there's a nice one-touch pass up ahead, and now a great ball from Galval played up ahead to D'Argento. Galval goes down hard, but no whistle. Over to Eder. Eder gets the ball to Missiker Wingate. Wingate taking one of his first touches of the night. Goes inside to Groza. Groza gets one touch on it and now works inside. He's brought down just about a yard outside the box, but no foul. Now Modi spinning, passing back to his back line. Modi using his head to flick it up towards midfield. Hill wants to send that ball into the box. D'Argento comes streaking out of nowhere to control this one. Wanted to pass up ahead, a through ball to Galval, but Holquist read that one like a book as he got over. Now Lane wanting to get up, but
offside.
Certainly an offside there as he worked his way well behind Beamer and Hill. 11 minutes and 15 seconds left in the first half. University of Chicago Maroons continue to lead 1-0 after that goal. In the very first minute of this game, that goal coming from Vicente Mateus on the assist from Cameron Bloy. Biddlecombe over to Hill. Hill wants to send a ball up ahead. It's misplayed by Holquist, and Galval trying to turn the corner, wants to cross this one inside, but it's Millington gets a foot on it, deflecting it off the end line.
Thunder, corner kick.
The Thunder here with a good chance to make something out of what seemed like nothing there just a few seconds ago. Good play by Galval to win the corner kick, and see what Wheaton tries to do here against the uneven matchups.
Groza goes in towards the near post. That's headed out by Modi. Modi, after it's deflected by Eder, gets it out. And now we see a counterattack coming from U Chicago. Bloy goes over to Holquist. Clock ticks down below 10 minutes as Holquist works towards that near corner of the box. Passes it over to Bloy. Bloy tried to work past Bavard, but Bavard able to stick his foot in there and interrupt that pass. Center to Spikiotis. Spikiotis up against Gillespie, wins that ball away, and now it's over to D'Argento. Wanted to send it up to Galval, but no time as Kitsimplis able to easily control that one, and now he will tell his team to take their time as maybe the referee speaking to one of the players down on the field as well. Clock continues to tick below 9.5.
We've seen D'Argento try to play a couple balls in behind but not be able to connect on any of them so far. I think he needs to be a bit more cautious on the choices of passes he's making, especially when it comes towards penetrating passes. Like, you definitely want to get the ball in behind, but you got to pick and choose. You can't just make a desperation kick here with 9 minutes left. You got to work the ball around a little bit more.
Brandt goes over to Lick on the far side of the field, and now it comes back into Brandt right at the bottom of that center circle. Works it over to the other side of the circle now, and Holquist trying to slot that ball past Bavard, which he does. Now Johnson streak towards the end line, gets past Bavard, fires off a shot that's deflected. A great save by Aston Biddlecombe.
In the game for Chicago, number
It'll be a
25,
corner
George
kick here,
Bronco.
but an awesome job by Biddlecombe to fend off that rocket.
You'll see Bavard just gets beaten here on the sideline, and after that he's just got an easy lane in for the shot. Biddlecombe doing good on his positioning there just to take away any option at the near post there.
8 minutes and 15 seconds to go. Once again, we see the same setup on the corner kick. Brandt, the one to stand over. Brandt sends this one high inside the box. No player able to get a touch on it. It lets it bounce a couple of times, but now it's Spikiotis. Spikiotis looks like he was fouled there. I think it's going to be by Johnson.
And another substitution here lining up on the sideline for U Chicago. That's number 29, Henry Myers, the 6'4 sophomore. So we see a theme from the substitutions from U Chicago, choosing to go with their height right now. Maybe capitalizing on those mismatches right now as the tallest Wheaton player on the field. 6'2", I believe, and that's both Drew Beamer and Justin Hill in the back.
Hill will bring this ball into the corner. That's a dangerous pass as Biddlecombe has no choice but just send that ball flying into the
In the game for
bleachers.
Chicago, number 29, Henry Myers.
Myers checks in. We'll see who he replaces. Looks like it'll be Michael Johnson, who's been in that position on the far side for most of this first half. As the clock continues to run, it'll be a throw-in taken by Lick.
It's good awareness, too, from Biddlecombe to be able to clear that ball and take away any more dangerous opportunity there for U Chicago. That ball rolls over the touchline for another chance here for the U Chicago Maroons, and that ball will be thrown in quickly. Square down the sideline. This ball goes all the way towards the back post. Dealt with coolly by A.J. Moyes, but U Chicago here still on the press.
George Bronco fires off a shot, and that curls right into the waiting arms of Biddlecombe. But
And
Biddlecombe's throw-in is a little far as Wingate not able to handle it, but you'll see the shot here from Bronco.
I believe we'll also see Biddlecombe get up. Just his eagerness to get his team moving here. Well, cut short there on the replay, but I like the opportunity there from Biddlecombe to try to get the ball out fast, but you got to be careful not to, overthrow your support there as Wingate can't catch up, even with Wingate's superior pace.
We see Justin Hill go down on a hard tackle by Lane.
Hill still stays down. That's scary if you're the Thunder, too. Hill's experienced his share of injuries before with his legs, so we'll see he stands up here. I think he just took a hard hit there, maybe to the ankle, or got his foot stepped on. Seems to be good enough to go on. This ball will be kicked in by Edders. Back to Beamer, and Beamer swings wide.
Moyes goes over to Galval. Galval down as well. Ball will stay with the Thunder, and Gilval is going to get a little bit of extra time as he works his way to his feet. Clock continues to run at 5 minutes. Now it's into the corner for Groza. Groza trying to work past 2 defenders, flicked away by Brandt. Now Modi sends it over to that far side where Henry Myers getting his first touch.
The U Chicago player just getting up now all the way from that play back in their corner. This ball towards the back post could be dangerous, but Biddlecombe realizes the opportunity, snuffs it out quickly to Moyes. Moyes now with time and space, but goes back to Beamer, realizing that there's no real opportunity up the right side. So they'll have an opportunity to swing, which they do. Working the ball around in the back right now is the Thunder. Beamer looking forward, that pass is snuffed out, and reckless challenge, but no call there from the referee, surprisingly.
And the referee waves his hands as if to say there's nothing to see here as D'Argento goes up on the counterattack. D'Argento down along with Lick, but Justin Hill will recover and take at least a little time to slow things down. Hill goes back to Biddlecombe with 4 minutes to go in this first half. The Thunder still down 1-0 to the University of Chicago Maroons.
And Pat Flynn there, the coach of the U Chicago Maroons, not happy with that missed call on that Beamer challenge earlier.
Ball played up from Gilval to Bavard, but Bavard not able to get a touch on it. We'll see if maybe it was deflected by a Maroons player. Looks like it was, because Bavard will have a throw-in with about 3.5 to go. Bavard comes inside, crossed into the box, but deflected away by Millington. Now it's Moyes. Moyes flicked that up ahead. There's no one waiting for the other end of that pass. Groza gets a touch on it. Now Eder has some space in front of him, but his target, Gilval, went down. Now it's Bronco going into the middle to Modi. Now less than 3 minutes to go. Brandt goes into the middle. Pass intercepted by Beamer. Tried to send it up to Sapikiotis. We see Gilval vying against Modi for this one, and Modi goes over to Myers.
A lot of space on the back post for U Chicago if they can find it right. Gilval just getting back here.
Myers fires off a shot. That left foot rocketing the ball well over the crossbar, but that ball had a lot of pace on it. A little unexpected, and I think it took the Thunder off guard.
It's a good look there from Myers, but nothing to worry the Thunder there as that ball, as you said, goes well over the crossbar.
Chipped up ahead by Hill, but there's no one to take that pass as we're now coming down about 2 minutes to go. Thrown into the final third by the Maroons. Wingate able to take that ball away and makes a run up the sideline. Great spin by D'Argento, who stays with the ball, crosses midfield and goes over to Groza. Groza tries to go up ahead to Sapikiotis, but not enough on that ball as it's easily dealt with by Gillespie. Moyes now looking for someone to go to on the sideline. Looked like he wanted to get it in quickly, but not able to as Sapikiotis takes a touch, and now it's Gilval. Back over to Sapikiotis, who sends the ball into the middle of no man's land. D'Argento makes a nice sliding pass. Now Bavard sent that one in, maybe a shot, but it looked like it got deflected, and so it was no trouble for Kitsimplis. Kitsimplis will wait here and take plenty of time as the clock is ticking down towards a minute to go. We've got about 65 seconds left in this first half. Goes all the way up to Lane, but that 50-50 ball
1 minute
won by
remaining in the
Justin
first half.
Hill.
1 minute.
Modi spinning, passing off to Myers on the far side. Goes in the middle to Brandt. Brandt has Myers on the far side, and now we'll go down to the bottom of your screen to Bronco. Moyes goes down. Bronco sticking with it, working parallel to the top of the box. Taken away by Eder. 37 seconds to go now in the half. Mateus goes over to Lick. Lick flicks it up towards Myers. Myers trying to round the corner. Bavard over pursues, and then Myers continuing to look for a pass inside the box. It's cleared out with 18 to go. Lick sends this ball inside of the box, headed by Beamer, and now it'll take a couple of bounces. 11 seconds
10,
to go.
9, 8,
Cleared
7,
out of danger by Eder.
6, 5,
Lick will just send
4,
this ball towards the goal
3,
as
2,
the last 3 seconds of
1.
this half
0.
expire. And
That is the end of the first half. The halftime score: Chicago
the
1.
Thunder will
and
head into
Wheaton 0.
halftime
Please reminder the concession
down
stand is open.
by a
And
score of
restroom
1 to
facilities
0.
are
The
also
University of
available
Chicago
underneath the football
Maroons
grandstand
lead
at McCully Stadium,
1-0
directly
as we
west
head
of
into
Joe Wheaton
halftime
Stadium.
here. They scored early in this one, just about 18 seconds in, when Vicente Mateus was able to fire a shot into the top right corner. Justin, what are a couple key takeaways that you've seen from this Thunder team? They were able to hold off and not allow the bleeding to get too bad after that first goal, and so it's only a 1-0 deficit that they head into halftime with.
Yeah, I think the first part of this half after that goal, it looked like the Thunder was just trying to survive there, as Chicago was putting on a pretty consistent onslaught of crosses, free kick opportunities, and shots. Biddlecombe dealing with more than his fair share of shots. But I think that as the half developed, the Thunder started to try to create more chances with a couple good ones of their own, with the one chance denied by Cat Simplus. I think the Thunder, as they continue into the second half, needs to find ways to get more actual shots in on frame and minimize the amount of careless passes that they're making up front. But then as well as in their build-up play too, they have to minimize turnovers, like we've mentioned before. Those have led to some pretty scary opportunities here in this first half. If you're Chicago, I think you just need to continue to bring that pace and push Wheaton to make mistakes. So I think that we're going to see some competitive play. I think it's anyone's game here in the second half. I think both teams should be treating it as 0-0, even though we still have this 1-0 scoreline, but I'm excited to see this as we go into the second half.
We thank you for joining us for this first half of action on the Wheaton Thunder Sports Network. We'll be back after halftime here on WTSN.
Every day, as students attend chapel, meet friends for lunch, or raise their hands in class, they encounter the Wheaton Fund at work, ensuring the excellence of their Wheaton College experience.
Because of the Wheaton Fund.
Because of the Wheaton Fund.
Because of the Wheaton Fund.
Because of the Wheaton Fund, Wheaton students receive a Christ-centered liberal arts education, led by world-class faculty, preparing them for a variety of kingdom vocations.
Because of the Wheaton Fund, all Wheaton students can grow in their faith through chapel, small groups, and real-world ministry experiences.
Because of the Wheaton Fund, students can participate in a more holistic Wheaton experience through extracurricular activities such as clubs, athletics, student government, and more.
Because of the Wheaton Fund, students get to live, learn, and play in world-class facilities. Everything from light bulbs illuminating late-night study sessions to lab equipment fueling discovery in Myers Science Center. It is made possible by the Wheaton Fund.
Because of the Wheaton Fund, the total excellence of a Wheaton education is made affordable for all of our students. And that's only possible when family, friends, parents, alumni give generously to the Wheaton Fund. Because of you, lives are being transformed each and every day on this campus. People that will lead society and serve the church in the next generation. Because of the Wheaton Fund.
Because of you.
Christ at the Core is changing the way that we teach and learn on campus. It's the beginning of a 4-year journey, a pilgrimage, and study of the liberal arts in a Christian community.
The first time I heard about the Core Seminar was in my spring connection of my senior year. So what really stood out to me was what they said that went along the lines of, in order to know your career, you first have to know your identity. And that completely blew my mind because all the other schools talked about how I could excel in this subject and grow in this career field, but no one asked me who I was. Through the seminar and through my professor, Dr. Keith Johnson, I've learned that being a student is a vocation, it is a calling. The Lord has placed me here and my classmates here for a reason.
The first-year seminar is really built around introducing what we mean by Christian liberal arts, and that is not just to study that, but to actually do it. As we read texts, think about great ideas, refine our writing, make arguments, listen respectfully to students that differ from one another.
So homework wasn't a chore. I engaged deeply with the readings because I wanted to come to class with an insight to share and ready to learn from the students around me. It was an exciting opportunity, and I felt valued as an individual with the things that I could share with the classroom as well as learn.
The Christ at the Core and advanced integrative curriculum is important for our students because it gives them an unparalleled opportunity for critical inquiry and to understand how their academic engagement informs their faith and also how their faith informs their academic engagement.
It's really cool to be in a class that is just combining two very different disciplines, being taught by two different professors, Dr. Townsend just in the Department of Natural Sciences, and then Dr. Barwigan in Christian Formation and Ministry Department, but then seeing how they interact so beautifully in class and how they really just build on what each other are saying.
Students are getting expert knowledge in two very disparate disciplines, and that they're now having to learn how to integrate this. Right. So it teaches them from a liberal arts perspective how to not only take kind of these silos of content and learn it, memorize it for a test, but to see that everything that they're learning contributes to one another.
One of the best things that I've experienced is team teaching and actually having a chance to learn from you.
No, absolutely, that's true. I remember when we had this moment where we were teaching Ursula Le Guin, and I thought this is perfect because we've got a literary scholar and a political philosophy person together, and a man and a woman dealing with issues related to gender. And I thought this is such a great experience for the students to be able to hear us working that out, talking that together.
So one of the outcomes in the first year seminar is to learn how to articulate the gospel. And so we, as a seminar, gathered and went to the basement of the Billy Graham Center and went to the pulpit there and began to practice proclaiming the gospel to each other. It was fun to do it together, to hear each other as we were learning better how to communicate the truth of Jesus Christ.
Part of the seminar experience is that we really build a community over the semester that we are together.
One of my favorite memories from core class was actually not during class, but one night when Dr. Lauber, my core professor, had us over to his house for dinner.
And community really built around that. Having food, having coffee, and having our textbooks in front of us.
This was a really impactful experience because as a freshman first semester, it was so nice to have a night where I could spend time in a home with a family eating dinner. Dr. Lauber really showed that he first cared about us as people and then as students, which made my core experience even more impactful and started off my freshman year really well.
And ultimately, this is what it's about: an education for life, a preparation for a life of service, because Christ truly is at the core of what we're doing here.
I think a lot of today tries to emphasize how much you need to be the individual and how much you need to kind of have your plan set out for you as soon as you reach the end of high school. Vanguard just kind of popped out of nowhere, and the idea of a gap year, spending it in the woods, and I felt like I just needed to take some time away from the kind of rigorous academic world just to kind of recenter myself. I feel like this is probably one of the best decisions I've ever made, was to take a gap year.
For me, like, going right to college was really kind of a scary thought because I didn't know what I wanted to major in, what I wanted to do. So taking a gap year was a really good chance for me to just like grow and mature a little more before going to college.
Once a month we would have professors from Wheaton come up and run a seminar, and those were exploring big questions of faith or big questions that millennials face.
Also, just the Vanguard community itself is really tight, and like we became kind of like a family.
I'm very thankful for these people who are willing to push me, but just care for me so deeply, and definitely I think something unique to this place, to Honey Rock, and to Vanguard as a program.
Basically the whole year was one immersion trip, being here in the Northwoods and interacting with the local community here. Another was going to the Dominican Republic.
It was learning and delving deeper into my faith, but without grades and without this pressure that I've always felt to perform. And I think having the opportunity to learn in such an intimate setting has influenced me in a really positive way.
I think what Vanguard does is it helps you to really discover your true potential and help you to kind of define your own calling.
It's a year of your life, yeah, and you might think, oh, this will set me behind all my friends, but it won't. At this stage in life, you're still so young, and there's still so much time to explore the world and to see what you want to study, and you'll have your 4 years of college, but you don't need to rush into that.
The person I am now compared to the person at the beginning is different in a lot of ways, but probably one of the most important ways would just be less anxiety about the future and more of just like present-mindedness and openness to what God is doing and like what His plan is from here.
Yeah, I definitely think, looking back on it, taking a gap year and doing Vanguard was the best decision of my life.
Hello, my name is Rob Ribby and I'm director here at Honey Rock, and I'm excited to talk to you about Advanced Camp. Advanced Camp is one of the most unique and powerful programs at Honey Rock, and it is at a critical time for young people between junior high and high school, and helping to equip and prepare them to manage that significant transition. It's a 3-week program that has a wilderness trip, some significant in-camp experiences around our activity areas and Bible studies, and then thirdly has a significant service component. The whole goal of the program is to prepare them and help them understand who they are and how they can stand for Christ and live in healthy and whole ways as they enter the significant years of high school. I think it is one of the best investments you can make at this important time in their lives. We hope to see you next summer. God bless.
welcome back to the Wheaton Thunder Sports Network. I'm John Mark Mills here with Abram Erickson and Justin Majeski. We're currently sitting in a 1-0 game. The Chicago Maroons struck early on, about 18 seconds into the game, to make it a 1-0 lead. And Justin, what are you looking for Wheaton going into the second half, just looking to try to tie this game up?
We kind of talked about this going into this, the end of the first half and going in here into the second half as well, but Wheaton needs to be, more disciplined as far as their passing goes through, out of the back build-up play, especially in the middle. Edders needs to be careful when he's looking for his passes, and Hill as well, and also Melgar. Just those passes out of the back are crucial for Wheaton's build-up play, but also when you're constantly being put under pressure from a really aggressive UChicago offensive line, then you need to be careful. Additionally, Wheaton just needs to hold possession and UChicago's half. You can't create chances without having time in the other side of the field, and I feel like Wheaton didn't have nearly as much time as they would have liked there in the final thirds. So I think those are the two most important things that Wheaton needs to take as far as success in putting points on the board in this game. But I think another thing Wheaton needs to be wary of is just getting caught up too high. Chicago looking for a lot of those crosses into the box, John Mark, but also additionally those through balls towards the corner. We have outside backs who like to play really high, like A.J. Moyes, for example, getting all the way up and being included in Wheaton's offense as well. But when you get caught up that high, Chicago's looking to counter fast and get in those spaces when you only have Melgar and Hill or Melgar and Beamer back there. So they have to be wary of that and just do a good job of communicating with the wingers too to help them, because you can't be mismatched there on the back post.
And we mentioned it before, but the Thunder on a 14-game win streak here at Joe Bean Stadium, and if that were to matter at any point, it would be in this second half where we'd love to have that home field advantage take effect.
And we are underway here into our second half, 20 seconds in. The Chicago Maroons in possession of the ball, bringing it up the left-hand side. Cleared back down and out of play for a throw-in for Chicago.
No. Change in the back with Bavard starting in that left back position. That's a tactical change here by Jake DeClude. I think he wants to give his other left back some time, but also maybe Bavard's pace there on the outside can help counter some of those through balls down the sideline as well.
Throw in here in Wheaton's end for Chicago. Control the ball, passes back. Pressured here. Brought back by Wheaton. Taken back by Chicago. Trying to move it up forward. Struggle here for the ball between two players on the left-hand side. Chicago plays it back, looks to reset. Cleared down. Bavard wins the ball, but wins it right to two Chicago players.
And Dowling there committing the foul as number 10 for the UChicago Maroons. Vincent Mateus stays down there, the possible injury.
Just getting helped up by his teammates here as we wait for play to resume. Got a little bit of a fist bump there, just to signal that all is good. A little bit of a discussion here as we got Brandt, as was typical in the first half, standing over along with Mateus.
Another change for Wheaton with DiArgento starting in the middle as well, bringing some more physicality to this Thunder roster.
Into the box, sent from Brandt. And out on Chicago. Biddlecombe will take the ball.
Good little bit of a fake there from Galval, I believe that was, on the back post to let that ball roll over the end line for a Biddlecombe goal kick here. But that ball initially was flicked by number 3, Gillespie, on with the header towards that back post. But snuffed out there by the Thunder. This ball will be played in quickly to Hill. Hill now looking to connect with a pass forward. Tries to play that, but just gets in the way there. Little scuffle for the ball, and UChicago now with it, looking to play through the middle.
Yeah, another turnover here from Wheaton. Bavard, nice play to clear that out. Cleared right back in. Picked up by Biddlecombe.
Biddlecombe commanding for that ball loudly. You can hear him all the way up here in the press box.
Biddlecombe to Hill, back to Biddlecombe. Cross up the far side, cleared up. Looking for
a foul there. I believe it was Sapikiotis who's going to draw the caution from the referee there, and the referee does issue the yellow card on Sapikiotis. A little bit of a reckless challenge, as we can see there in the replay. 50-50 ball, but Sapikiotis there putting his weight into the U Chicago player there.
Sapikiotis has been cautioned.
It's one of those calls that could go either way, but the referee there cautioning Sapikiotis, setting the tone here, I think, for the level of physicality that he's acceptable with in this second half. Obviously, he's let a lot slide already in this game, much to the disappointment of both sides here. Dangerous pass back there on the header, but Biddlecombe rushes all the way out and somehow keeps that one from going over the end line.
Yeah, that was an acrobatic play by Biddlecombe, sliding to keep it in play. And Justin, like you said, about the physicality, we're nowhere near those 40 fouls committed in that last game against Rowan by U Chicago. So referee maybe catching wind of that and adjusting, but we'll see.
A lot of space for U Chicago on the other side of the field. You can't see it on the screen, but Wheaton doesn't manage that well on the switches, then they could be under a lot of trouble. But that turnover gives Wheaton a chance to try to build something here. Bavard playing that ball all the way back to Biddlecombe. And U Chicago not pressing as hard as we saw them in the first half across the back, giving Wheaton a little bit more time to focus on their build-up play and get some easy passes across the back. So Sapikiotis there with a battle with Gillespie gets that ball all the way back to Biddlecombe. Beamer with the ball now. And Beamer changed too over Melgar, who we saw start here in the first half. Dangerous opportunity, and this could go all the way through, and that bounces off the crossbar, I think. We'll see here in the replay. I couldn't tell in the chaos of all that, but good through ball there. And you see Wheaton's pulled out. They don't have their right back in there, as you see. I think that's Beamer there actually was pulled out, so only one of the center backs there, as well as Edders, who was trying to fill back in Beamer's space. I think Beamer was pushed up there. Those are the kind of things that U Chicago capitalizes on if your shape's off. Scary opportunity, and Wheaton escapes there. Edders switching the field all the way to Galvao. Galvao now with a little bit of time and space, plays towards the middle, but Garoza not able to get a good touch on that one.
Eder pressuring Chicago here. Cleared over to the right-hand side for Michael Johnson. Johnson working into the box. Nice move. Nice move into the box. Has shot saved by Biddlecombe.
And Biddlecombe doing very well to hold on to that ball and not rebound it back into the middle. See, Bavard gets beaten badly here on the corner of the box, unable to regain his footing there. But Biddlecombe dropping down fast, and that ball bounces up, and he secures it with his other arm. Great save by Biddlecombe.
Ball cleared out here off of Wheaton. It'll be a throw in for Chicago.
Yeah, it looks like that deflected off D'Argento as he had to hop over that University of Chicago player that was down on the ground.
D'Argento trying to win the ball here.
Dowling in the ball right now.
Taken back by Dowling. Dowling up the side. Nice move into open space.
Space on the back post for Galvao if he can find him. This ball goes all the way through, but Matt at the arms of Cat Simplest, who was waiting for that one. Not enough pace or height on that to get it all the way towards the streaking Galvao.
Chicago moving upfield, but clears it out of play. Turnover, back to Wheaton. Throw in here.
Throw in from Moyes there, deflected back over the touchline. That's Moyes again for the next throw in here. So Wheaton continues to press up the field. For those of you just joining us, this is the Wheaton Thunder Sports Network. 38 minutes remaining here in the second half in this really aggressive matchup between the U Chicago Maroons and the Wheaton College Thunder. 1-0 right now, but it very well could be, 3-0 or 3-1, with both teams having opportunities that they haven't capitalized on.
Garoza trips a little bit there, trying to get a shot off. Dowling can't win the ball back, and it's up to Johnson. Johnson has space on the right-hand side. Pass up here.
And Hill
cleared out.
doing a good job there of recycling in behind Bavard to make the tackle, and Bavard realizing that Hill's coming in there, rotating inside. That's good defensive movement. That's the kind of defensive movement you want from Wheaton College there. So they weren't flat across the back, and Moyes was working hard on the back post to get back as well.
Gillespie, Johnson on the side. Working with the ball, back to Gillespie. Gillespie resets to Katsimplis.
And now Wheaton's pressing their whole team up very hard, much to the urge of Coach DeClute. Hill going up to win that one, but Roark somehow beating out on the mismatch. Time and space for UChicago as they have quite a bit of numbers. Beamer needs to step here. This ball out wide, defended by Moyes. Cut inside, dangerous shot, saved by Biddlecombe, and that follow-up there all the way onto the top of the public safety building, but Biddlecombe once again bailing out the Thunder here. Moyes just gets beaten to the inside. Biddlecombe there, stellar positioning. He gets up to his feet fast there too, as number 10, Vincent Mateus, tries to take that shot, but can't get his foot over the top of the ball.
Yeah, it's another one-on-one display of skill there by Chicago. It's 2 in a row that they've been able to generate potent offensive chances off of just one-on-one plays like that.
If you're Coach DeClute right now, you have to be really thankful that you have such a fantastic goalkeeper in the back, a 2-time CCIW Defensive Player of the Week this season already, showing the reason why he won those awards here in this game, making a collection of stellar saves. And Beamer there committing the foul on Roark as he puts 2 arms into the back of Roark there. And UChicago tries to capitalize on a quick opportunity, but the referee calls that free kick back a couple yards away.
Quick play over to Johnson. Johnson once again working, once again getting past his defender on the right-hand side. And this will be another, oh, it won't be a corner here for Chicago.
And I'm not really sure what the AR saw that we did in there, but it looked like it was clearly a corner kick on that one. But Wheaton gets a little early Christmas gift here as they get a goal kick of their own.
Yeah, understandably upset there. That looked for sure like it was going to be another corner kick for Chicago.
It looked like Johnson there tried to cross that, and it went off the arms of Bavard.
.34 minutes and 50 seconds to go in this one. And we talked at the beginning of the game how University of Chicago hasn't allowed a goal within the last couple of games, and now ball will go over to Boy.
Boy with the shot. Nice, another save here by Biddlecombe. Goes to Johnson. Johnson looking to tee up his man again. Puts it into the box. Moved out, tries to clear it to the center, but can't. Not out of play. Stays in play. Keeps the ball. Nice defensive play there to keep it out.
A little bit of hands there on that back post, I believe, by Bavard, but enough to slow the play up. Not enough to draw the foul there inside of the box. Good little bit of defensive play there. That ball will just outrun Johnson as Eder secures there, and now Wheaton on the run. D'Argento with the ball. Physical play there. He drops it back towards Moyes, and that last save there from Biddlecombe coming off of a mismatch on the back post. Moyes there's been dealing with multiple men on the back post as he's unable to get any help. Galval hasn't been able to get back there fast enough on the break. And Moyes beaten once again for the shot on frame, but Biddlecombe's been doing well here in the second half as well as the first half too. Sapikiotis there challenging for that ball and winning that over Gillespie. This ball now switched across the back as Beamer and Moyes take their time with it. Coach DeClute from the sideline urging his team to play 2-touch, something that we had suggested earlier ourselves just to help improve the pace of play and just the quality of soccer that's Wheaton's playing as far as connecting passes go.
D'Argento taking up hard challenge there, but no call. Oh, yes, there is a call. Looks like it'll be a free kick for Wheaton off of that play.
Last couple calls the referees made have been a little late on the whistle on both of them. I think the offending player on both sides kind of looking around and seeing if maybe they got away with that one, but the referee coming in with the whistle both times.
Into the box for Sapikiotis. Sapikiotis right to the center of the box, but it's knocked out by Chicago. Bouncing around in the center there. Not sure who's going to come up with this. Chicago wins the header, but it goes out of play for another Wheaton throw-in.
Couple substitutions coming in as we see Michael Martins for the first time this game subbing out Bavard. And then Ryan Melgar coming back in for Drew Beamer, who gets a little bit of a rest here. Wheaton showing their first little bit of offensive pressure here in the second half, giving Biddlecombe a break from the acrobatic show he's been putting on this second half.
In the corner. Steps into the box. Trip there, looks like. This time the foul call is more punctual.
And this one right on the edge of the box here. Very nearly a penalty kick for Wheaton, but nonetheless a great opportunity for Wheaton to put some more pressure here on the U Chicago Maroons. Yeah, like you said, a little bit more punctual too as well, Abram. I'll let you run with this thought.
Yeah, I really think that the Thunder need to at least make something happen here. We can't have another turnover, can't have another really good chance that doesn't end up in anything. And man, if D'Argento would have been able to push that ball just out in front of him a little more, get that to be a penalty kick, that would be great. But this ball really sitting just about 2 feet off of that line.
Yeah, huge free kick here. Wheaton would love to capitalize on this opportunity.
I'd like to see Michael Martins actually put something on frame here. You know, even if it's not a shot that goes directly in, you have the possibility to give up a good rebound here. So we'll see Michael Martins take the shot, and that one just over the bar there. I do like that nonetheless, even if it didn't put itself on frame. Good opportunity there. We'll see here in the replay fast. A little bit of a dummy by Galvao, and Michael Martins getting over the ball, and you can see the spin on that. Gets the curve, but doesn't get the top spin that he wants to dip it over that wall and in towards that near post top corner, but good little try there by Martins. I think Wheaton needed to put that one on frame though.
In the middle of the field, one back. Up in the air for Wheaton.
And Ryan Melgar doing a good job tonight at winning these 50-50 balls. We see Garoza there winning one of his own and then winning the follow-up here. Wheaton's on the run. Michael Martins streaking down the sideline in towards Garoza there.
Garoza blocked a little bit there by the Chicago player. Couldn't get around him, but no call. Got Johnson here to Gillespie. Back to Johnson. Out of play. A little bit too far for him. We got to throw in for Martin.
And Wheaton now giving U Chicago a little bit of their own medicine as they press both offensively and defensively.
Push up
Sapikiotis there with a good little bit of a play into the box there. Just outruns the ball a little bit. Good little bit of pressure there by Dowling. Dowling settles there with the outside of his foot, and this ball remains there. A good Meg there, but just a little bit too hard of a touch, and that ball go over the end line.
Like you see Dowling trying to make something of that chance as he sent it up. Sapikiotis originally making a great turn to get onto that ball, but he was kind of snuffed out by two defenders. Dowling was out there all on his own trying to make something happen. Not able to string anything together.
See Misker Wingate line up here on the sideline. It's a substitution. I believe he'll take out Galvao on the back post, who's been showing some signs of fatigue, not able to get back and help Moyes necessarily as much as he needs to here. Dangerous chance here as this ball pings around in the back. Moyes able to get on the end of it and clears that far and wide outside of the stadium here, giving his team a little bit of time to get back and get their shape. Johnson's still here on the back post, and Stafford Dowling still coming back and in. See number 3, Gillespie, pushing up into the box like we've seen him do all night long. We'll seeing another long throw in here from number 21, Bryce Millington, I believe.
Long throw into the box. Header's missed, but can't find the ball, but just is able to find it and clear it out. Sapikiotis. Touch isn't good enough. Taken back by Chicago. Back into Wheaton zone. Picked up on the side.
And the spin on that one, keeping it just on the end line.
It's again individual moves here into the center of the box, just out of reach. Headed out. Oh, looks like a handball there, and that'll be another free kick for Chicago.
Unfortunately, that might have been a foul there if number 14, Michael Garoza, wouldn't have hit that one with his arm there. Disappointing chance there, because that's a favorable position for U Chicago to put something in towards Biddlecombe. Biddlecombe stellar nonetheless in the second half, but still not able to keep out that first screamer. Only 18 seconds into this first half. It's been the deciding goal thus far in this game, as you see 27 minutes remain here in the second half. And I mean, going into this game, I wouldn't have believed that would have been the deciding goal, but it might be here. 27 minutes
into the box, through, easy save for Biddlecombe.
Yeah, and that one on frame, but nothing to worry for Biddlecombe as he coolly scoops that one up, playing that one out towards Hill.
Hill to Eder. Eder across to Melgar. Melgar handles back to Hill. Hill takes a big touch forward. Up to Dowling. Dowling cuts back to the middle.
And I like that by Dowling to cut that ball across the grain, because it opened up this opportunity forward towards Moyes. Moyes unable to get to it, but that's still good play by Wheaton. Good recognition as far as soccer IQ goes there, to not try to push it up that side. Chicago sucking their men over towards that left side. That quick switch by Dowling opened up that opportunity, just not able to connect from the back there. Headers with a little bit of skill on the sideline, takes a big touch, unable to secure that one. Scalval pressuring there as Chicago clears forward. Melgar getting a leg in there, up towards Sapikiotis, and now this ball all the way back towards Martins. Martins with Johnson here, contesting the physical matchup. Martin's got to be careful not to give away a foul here as he gets beaten. Hill here coming in, does a good job to steer that one away, but the ball still remains in the box here. Melgar coming in to clean up the scraps, but they've got to get this one out. They got to get back their shape. Chicago immediately puts this ball back into the fray.
Mateus, shot in is blocked, but he regains the ball, taken down. Looks like we're going to have a foul on Mateus here, and Wheaton will quickly play the ball out. That's up here to DiArgento. Chicago regains the ball. Another turnover from Wheaton. Moves it back. Just looking to reset. No sense of urgency here needed for Chicago, but a long clear up ahead is missed and recovered by Martin. Biddlecombe will pick it up. Look to send Wheaton back on offense.
And Wingate still standing here on the sideline waiting to go in. We haven't seen the ball go out very much here over the course of the past 5 minutes. Been doing a good job of just playing this ball back and forth along the pitch.
Nice move by Hill, but the pass is picked off. Groza takes the ball away. Over to Sapikiotis. Back to Groza. Groza just misses it. And the keeper for Chicago will clear it back out and out of play.
Into the game for Wheaton, number 2, Missiker Wingate.
And I think on that last play, something that was really nice was Sapikiotis rushing at the goalkeeper, Kimpalis, as he tried to kick that ball away. And Sapikiotis knew, and we could tell from up here, that he didn't really have a shot at getting there before the ball reached Simplis, but what he was doing is disrupting and just kind of getting in the line of sight of Kit Simplis, and he was able to force that ball to be a turnover as it just bounded over that sideline.
Exactly, Abram. That's what Chicago do as far as defensive play goes. When Wheaton has the ball, especially up in our own half, they just really press us hard to make mistakes and not try to win anything necessarily. It's just the patience, and Sapikiotis there realizing that pressure puts people under stress, and that stress causes turnovers there as he's able to force the goalkeeper there to play that ball over the end line. Dangerous ball towards the middle of the box. Hill deals with easily, though. The ball passed back to Edders by Groza there. Not a very good pass back. And Melgar there not able to find an easy option to just place that ball out over the end line. Wheaton can get their shape back now, but dangerous throw-in opportunity here for Chicago, who's been getting these ones in deep.
It'll be Lick on the throw-in. We've seen them airmail a bunch into the box, but that won't be the move here. As he goes to Brandt. Brandt moves it back to Holquist. Holquist, miscommunication, and goes back to Wheaton for a throw-in.
the University of Chicago they've certainly got their fair share of chances in the second half, but at least from my eye up here, they haven't been as menacing as they seemed in that first half. They came out quickly with the goal, and I think that certainly had the Thunder on their heels for at least a couple of minutes as they just looked to put chance after chance into the goal. And I think the Thunder need to capitalize on this here in the second half as they look to be a little more fallible here.
Ooh, close play there. Just gotten off by the keeper, Katsimplis. And we have a foul on Wheaton on that play, actually, on that slide. As it appears that Katsimplis fell down on that play, and that's going to be a foul. I'm trying to figure out what exactly is happening here. It'll be a yellow card.
Yeah, Dowling there challenging the goalkeeper there on the clearance, and I don't know if I was the referee there, if I would have issued the yellow card there, but just for the protection of the goalkeeper's sake there, I believe the referee cautions Dowling there as he slides in dangerously a little bit late. I think it was just the fact that it was late. If that one would have been half a second earlier there, he probably would have connected with the ball, possibly given an opportunity for Wheaton, but the timing, those challenges that you make on the keepers is imperative. So you can't go in late, and even that little half second of a difference there, I think drew him the yellow card, but I think that's a yellow card that Coach DeClue is willing to accept as Stafford was pressing super hard looking for that goal.
And you want to see your guys hustling, and that's certainly just a hustle play that Dowling was trying to make something out of nothing there, and in a 1-0 game, it's the plays like that that could end up making the difference.
We saw Katsimplis make a mistake earlier off of a press by Sabikiotis, and that one far closer there by Dowling, so good opportunity, just not able to capitalize on that. Unfortunately, commits the foul in the process, but U Chicago now at the ball with a free kick right around the midfield line. We'll see another substitution lineup here on the sideline. That'll be number 29, Henry Myers, who we saw come in late into the first half. A 6'4" freshman, or sophomore, I believe, from Portland, Oregon.
Yep, Chicago using that same game plan again, bringing in a lot of big bodies later on in the half. Cleared out by Wheaton. Played back by Chicago, but stolen here. Moves it up to...
It's like Dowling.
Dowling working on the far side. Goes out. And it will be Chicago ball.
29, Henry Myers.
Henry Myers now will come in.
It's a little bit of a missed opportunity, I think, by the Thunder.
Yeah, I think that it was a good opportunity there down the sideline. I think he needed to slow the play up a little bit because he was obviously not going to be able to make it all the way in on goal on his own, and he didn't have a lot of opportunities to cross the ball as most of his other help was behind him there. So I think he should have just maybe ran the ball towards the corner and waited a little bit, got the drop, and then looked for that ball slotted back towards the middle there. But like you mentioned a little bit earlier, Abram, Wheaton College looking a little bit stronger here in this second half, and U Chicago looking a little bit less menacing. I think that despite the chances U Chicago has put on Wheaton, that Biddlecombe has diffused almost single-handedly. Wheaton College feels like they deserve to be in this game now. I think that that kind of confidence is showing quite a bit as they've been trying to string together a little bit more.
Wingate able to strip the ball from Myers, but taken back by Chicago and moved up to Mateus. Rolls through, and it's cleared out around the Wheaton bench area. Scott Lick here with the throw-in. Wingate tries to win it, but cannot. Sent high into the air by Hill. 50-50 ball. Taken by Chicago.
Carrozza there getting his foot in late, unfortunately flicking it all the way to the other side of the field. Chicago still with the ball. Moyes pulling in really deep into the middle. Lucky tackle there by Hill. Dangerous challenge, but does get the ball. Wheaton now on the press. D'Argento looking across the middle as Carrozza fights for this. Somehow still retains possession. Missiker Wingate has space on the outside, but Carrozza looks towards the middle, and it's ball in U Chicago possession right now. Wingate coming in, winning this one. looking for the switch, it looks like, towards the back post. But completing it, it looks like, surprising off of that little bit of a chip. Good challenge back towards A.J. Moyes, who tries to flick this ball in and clear there in the front post by Gillespie.
Yeah, and if you're Thunder, I think you have to use this play. String out something here. Keep the pedal down.
Got Melgar here coming square for the drop. He's going to drag that U-Chicago player there, giving Galval enough space here to play that ball off. Good cross towards the middle, but Simplest coming out here, securing that ball. It was a little bit too close, I think, to his goal for his own comfort. See, Cooley collects that one. I think you have to contest to that, though, if you're Wheaton, regardless of if you're probably going to be able to redirect that on frame. Just don't give them that easy catch. Headers there going up for it, unable to win. Melgar there trying to contest that second one. Cleared back. Wingate there pressing towards the back post, and Moyes has time and space to deal with this one, but tracked rather quickly, using his strength to try to keep this one over the end line, but accidentally falls on it. Biddlecombe there, unable to get that one fully out. This is a dangerous opportunity. Biddlecombe with another save from point blank, and he is keeping Wheaton in this game in the second half.
Yeah, that's incredible. I mean, look at this here. As Biddlecombe has nowhere to go with 3 players around him, and now Ruark just gets the ball with no one in front of him, able to deke to the side and
just goes off of his left foot there. You have to give Biddlecombe some credit for being able to stay on his feet that long. When the ball's that close as a goalkeeper, your tendency is just to go down the moment it looks like somebody's going to shoot from point blank, but keeps his body big there as he keeps his set position good. He just follows the play until he's forced to make the save, kicking it over the end line. Great save by Biddlecombe.
Another corner here into the box short and lofted out.
Melgar again with the clearance there. He's been very good with those clearances tonight. A lot of space here on the back post for Myers, but they look to go down the middle. Moyes getting on the end of that header. Edders unable to win that. Hill pulled out super far and realizes he's beat there, and I think just commits the foul to hold that play up. And
it looks like that's Modi down on the ground.
Yeah, and Hill obviously didn't want to commit the foul there, but it already committed so far that he almost had to follow through with that tackle. Just accidentally catches him with his shoulder, I think.
Yeah, I think you're right, Justin. I think that's one of those situations where it's like maybe commit a foul, which is going to put him in a dangerous position, or let the ball get past you and allow Modi a one-on-one shot. Now, the way Biddlecombe's playing, I don't know. Maybe that's the chance you take, but Hill committing what's probably the smart play here, even in committing that foul.
Yeah, and as 15 minutes remain on this clock here, the worst thing you could do is go down by another goal. I think that's the right choice by Justin Hill. I think he just stepped a little flat-footed and on his heels there. Committing the foul is probably the best thing you could do, because U-Chicago will capitalize on that, and they'll just pass around into that space and then have another 1v1 with Biddlecombe, which I don't think we can keep relying on Biddlecombe to make saves that no goalkeeper is supposed to make, you know.
A 4-man wall set up for the Thunder on this free kick, which is in a similar position to one we saw just a couple of minutes ago that got past the wall and skirted all the way up towards Biddlecombe.
And not challenging him very much there, but these are these kind of free kicks that are super dangerous, especially if you can get any kind of power or knuckle on this to read. Here in the middle of the field like this, you can go for either post or just play it down here in the middle. You got a few tall players here, over 6 foot on the back post.
Mateus takes this one. Nowhere near any Chicago players, and that just rolls out.
I think that's got to be somewhat of a break in communication there, because Justin, that was something you mentioned that he could do, is play it to that far side and try to go to the far post where he has a couple of players lined up. That's exactly where Modi put it, but there was no break. No one from his own team ran out to make a play on that ball. So.
Yeah, you saw Myers and Gillespie on the back post, and you would have thought that both of those would have been attacking, you know, regardless of whether or not they were involved with a header there on that play. If you're going to put a shot on, you want players crashing the post, so I think that's just a little bit of a miscommunication. You might have thought that was a shot on frame. I don't know. Not 100% sure on that one. That big switch there just over the head of Moyes as it goes out for a throw-in. Michael Johnson and Joey Sapikiotis coming in here as substitutes. Looks like D'Argento is coming out as Stafford Dowling shifts back into the midfield position.
And you see Johnson coming back in, and he's the first Maroon to go out and then return. And instead of taking Myers this time, who was the one who replaced him, he's going to take the spot of Ruark. So now we've got some speed and some size out there for the Maroons, as Johnson's been active, streaking up and down the sideline all night long.
Galvao getting his leg in there, but unfortunately going off the end line for another throw-in here for the UChicago Maroons.
Throw-in is taken, goes back, headed back into the play. Chicago maintains the ball, tries to play it over the head of a Wheaton defender, but just can't get it around. But they are managed to keep it in the zone. Wheaton just can't quite clear. This is now the 4th attempt at breaking through on this far side. Plays it back. He's got a lick on the offside. Takes the ball, passes back.
Wingate pressing fast here down the sideline, forces a quick clearance from Gillespie. And a Wheaton throw-in. Good pressure there by Wingate on the sideline.
Martin to take this throw-in, goes back to Hill. Hill takes his time and goes back to Biddlecombe.
Chicago taking away a lot of the easy options for Hill there as he's forced to go back to his own goalkeeper. Dowling here in the middle, trying to provide something for Wingate. This ball forward towards Martins, but Spikiotis there coming in as it goes a little bit past Martins. This ball up to Whalen. Whalen playing a good ball in behind towards Galvao, but just a little bit too much inside, and now UChicago trying to get on the attack. Melgar there with a great turn, trying to pick somebody out here. Contested by UChicago there, and a little bit of a miscommunication leads towards Edders, giving that ball out to Myers. Myers now at the ball. Plays that ball towards the sideline at Johnson, but looks like the offsides flag is up. Groza will come in here as Galvao comes out. But the referee actually sends Galvao back. It was as it was an offsides call and not a free kick. You can't have any substitutions on an offsides call.
Yeah, and Groza, having just come out of this game, just gets a quick breather after being replaced by Whalen, and he's looking to come right back in.
Roark as well, lining back up here on the sideline with a quick breather. I think that was probably just so his coach could talk to him fast. He can grab a breather and maybe a quick drink and get back into the action here. 12 minutes remaining in this second half. Wheaton's got to come up with something now. They got to make an answer. They need to be the first team in the 5 games UChicago has played so far to be able to score a goal after the first 6 minutes. Can they do it? We'll see here as the second half play continues on.
Nice spin move to move the ball up. Taken by Hill. Surveys the field. Takes the space that he's given. Played up, but out of range of Groza. Groza on the chase here, but just can't get the ball. Out of play.
Into the game for Chicago,
as it was Henry Myers, unable to come up with that ball.
Yeah, it's a miscalculation by Myers. You saw he just wanted to play a spin and get that ball from around his defender, but didn't realize how close he was to the sideline. And so when he turned back to look at the ball coming towards him, it was already out of play.
Ferraro lining up here on the sideline as a substitution. Micah Martin's taking the quick throw in as Dowling does the ball back. Good little bit of a Maradona move towards the back post. Good cross towards a streaking Groza, who's not able to capitalize on that. And Sapikiotis coming in, try to get his mark on that as well. That ball cleared all the way out for a Wheaton throw-in. Ferraro now subbing in. I believe actually the referee might call this one back for a free kick as the AR noticed Sapikiotis there going in for a rough challenge at the top of the box, and it looks like that was a free kick. UChicago will take their time to get this free kick in. So they're in no rush. The 1-goal lead at the moment.
Yeah, if you're in University of Chicago, time's on your side, and so any time you can milk a couple of seconds off the clock here like they do right now is certainly something that's in your favor.
And UChicago great at wasting time here over the past couple times that Wheaton has played them towards the end of the regulation time, they've just opted to dribble the ball towards the corner and hold it there as the minutes dwindle down into seconds. But we still have a little bit more time here for both teams to create chances. Has 9 minutes and 34 seconds remain on the clock. Ferraro still on the sideline here. Dangerous opportunity in behind us. Melgar was caught a little bit out. Melgar still next to the ball, gets a touch in. Rourke here dribbling through the box, but Hill able to get it as Rourke can't settle that ball. On the run now is Stafford Dowling down the middle, beating two defenders solely with his pace right now. They catch back up, trying to do it all himself, out to Wingate. Wingate so vital here on this outside. Pass towards the middle, Waylon with space. Waylon chipping towards the back post. Wingate with a little bit of chip just wide of the left post. And that was a good little bit of passing combination there from Wheaton.
Ben Ferraro.
Yeah, and when the ball comes back over to Waylon at the top, I expect him to take a shot here. But what he does is he see Wingate leak out towards the goal, chips it up towards him. He was well past Lick, but Wingate not able to track it down with enough of an angle to curl that one into the net.
Oh, that's such good passing and vision there from in the middle there from Waylon. And Waylon there, one of their best passers in the center. He links up well on those give-goes. And I feel like if Wingate would have started that run just a tad earlier, maybe if he was onside still, then he could have capitalized on that as he had the idea right, flicking it over the onrushing head of Cat Simplis. But I think Wheaton will have some more chances here. Dangerous ball towards the back post. Garoza trying to get on this. Garoza there with an arm, and he'll be flagged for that one. Frustrated, kicks it into the wall there.
Yeah,
I believe he might get a card for this,
I think he certainly is going to. Here comes the referee, and he'll give him the caution, but that's costly, as that was a really nice ball played inside. And although he wasn't able to get it off the first touch, I think there was a chance that he was going to come around and be able to win that ball back, but he lets the arm get up high around the shoulder of the University of Chicago player, and then just the retaliation is what gets him the yellow card.
You can't do that, too, when the seconds are so important, too, on this clock. You can't give the ball away to you. Chicago on a free kick. They're just going to waste as much time as possible if the referee doesn't stop the clock. Edders there, challenging on a couple balls. Melgar going to clear. That ball deflects off of Myers. Back to Biddlecombe. Biddlecombe dealing well with the bouncing ball. Up to Dowling. Waylon there in the middle is able to settle that. This ball will just be swung around in the back right now. Melgar taking his time and space, playing a long ball forward. And this ball dealt with well by Garoza, but Garoza all by himself there with no support in the back post.
Yeah, nothing really he could do there other than attempt a shot. He was moving so fast. Two defenders, one on either side of him, and no teammate in space.
Hill winning that high punt there and Cat Simplis. That ball swung out towards Wingate. Not close enough to him to make a play. Melgar winning the header. Now on the run is UChicago towards the middle. Rourke with the ball, flicking onwards. Biddlecombe there, recognizing the through ball. Comes out quickly to get his hands on that one. And he'll start this ball out in the back off of the throw.
We're now sub 7 minutes here. Wheaton has to be looking to do something to try to tie this game up.
Wheaton looking the most dangerous as they've been all game long in these past few minutes here. See if they can actually put something in on frame, with the exception of that one shot against Cat Simplis. We haven't seen anything actually put on frame that's super dangerous, but Wingate there with a good opportunity a few minutes ago. This ball swung out wide by Edders. Now space for Garoza. Good move towards the inside as he beats Myers. Tries to get a desperation shot off, but still has possession there as it comes off of Myers' legs. Back to him. This will be a throw-in as it's cleared out wide. Now Ferraro over the ball. Substitution for UChicago is on the sideline right now is Griffin Wada, the 6'4 freshman. Along with the height theme again, we see. Wheaton towards the top of the box. Sabikiotis with a great, and that's in! Oh my word! What a great shot, and this is one to celebrate here. At 6 minutes of the... You can't save that if you're Cat Simplis. You're off your line a little bit, and you'll see just the celebration right now, and well-deserved. Sabikiotis with a wonder shot. No stranger to scoring decisive goals, as he scored a decisive goal last year against Carthage away. We'll see here, he flicks this in. I didn't think Sabikiotis had any chance of scoring this one, but he one-times this shot and chips it all the way towards the back post. over the outstretched hand of Cat Simplest into the back left corner. Fantastic, fantastic goal. I can't emphasize that enough.
Yeah, and you took the words out of my mouth, Justin. That ball off of Sapikiotis' foot, there was no way that was going in.
I thought it was a cross towards the back post.
Able to chip it up over the outstretched arms of Cat Simplest, and the Thunder have broken the streak that the Maroons had. No scoring outside of the 6th minute, let alone no scoring in the second half. And so the fifth goal of the year.
For number 9, Joey Sapikiotis.
And this Thunder squad reinvigorated as 5 minutes and 44 seconds remain on this clock. We might see the theme that we've seen in 4 of these 5 games that UChicago played so far with double overtime, but Wheaton with another chance. Wingate here with time and space on the outside, playing forward towards the streaky Michael Martins. Michael Martins towards the back post to Pikiotis. Just out of reach of that ball, but still here on the back post. The ball's still in, but unable to find Whalen there. Wheaton showing lots of potential here.
Yeah, not satisfied with just 1. Go for 2, go for the win.
And that's a foul on Whalen at the corner of the box. You hear one of the Wheaton coaching staff on the sideline calling for a card on that one. It was a reckless challenge. No card issued by the referee here, but great opportunity here. This one's a little bit more inside for Michael Martins here to possibly direct this one on frame. We saw him take a shot here earlier just over the crossbars. He wasn't able to get the dip on this one. Also see Ferraro here standing over the ball. I'm curious to see what Wheaton does with this.
Sapikiotis and Wingate marked up on the far post. Whalen more in towards the middle, and then Groza at the top of the little circle there around the box. Referee marches the wall back. Martins and Ferraro stand over.
For those of you tuning in, it's 1-1 tie right now with 4 minutes remaining in regulation.
Martin's shot deflects off the wall, chipped high up into the air, still in the box. And now Sapikiotis comes flying in, attempting a one-time shot there, but not on target.
That one would have been even better than the first if he would have been able to direct that one on frame. Sapikiotis right now, the savior for Wheaton. If this expires into extra time, giving his team the goal that levels this. Good header there from Melgar as he wins this. So Wheaton squad is fired up right now, showing lots of physicality and energy as this time expires. Good play from Ferraro on the outside to steer that ball wide. This will be another long throw, and we'll see Gillespie getting his way all the way up into the box, and this could be a dangerous opportunity for UChicago. Biddlecombe doing well this entire half to deal with UChicago's onslaught, but a change up here. Flick towards the middle. Dangerous header there from Gillespie, but right towards the arms of Biddlecombe. Biddlecombe with a long throw towards Sapikiotis. Well defended by UChicago. This ball will go all the way back to Cat Simplest.
Pressure here from Wheaton, trying to get that lead-changing goal played up. On the left-hand side, a sprint. UChicago in control, cuts towards into the box. Nice move, but a little bit too hard of a touch, and Wheaton is able to clear. Ball played over to Lick. Lick moves forward into space.
And Spikiotis was unable to make a play on that long ball forward because he was hovering in that offsides position there. This ball will find its way all the way back to the hands of Biddlecombe. 2 minutes remaining here in the regulation time. Spikiotis tying this game 4 minutes ago.
Biddlecombe up in the direction of Wingate. Heads it down.
Settling forward and trying to flick on in the on-running Spikiotis, but that ball just a little bit too hard for Spikiotis to get to, and Cat Simplest will come out, secure that one, rolling out, trying to build some play out of the back.
Two players to watch here maybe at the end is Matthias Wingate and 23 Johnson on this close side. Look for them and their speed to maybe try to do something this final minute 30. Both these teams want the win here. Controlled by UChicago.
And Wheaton in deep right now. They're defending as you see Missiker Wingate there tracking down fast. Martin's out to deal with this ball. Good tackle there on Johnson. They could find a counterattack here. He connects with Dowling in the middle. Dowling now with time and space as he dribbles down the middle, playing out towards Sapikiotis. Sapikiotis has a couple men on the back post. Whalen there's wide open towards the back post, but he just plays that one too hard. Whalen was in behind if he would have been able to pick him out.
Now we're down below a minute.
D'Argento coming in here to take Sapikiotis off.
Out to midfield. Header one down.
30 seconds here on this clock. This game's not over yet. 1-1, and UChicago will press until the final seconds expire here. And Wheaton College winning the foul there. It was hard to see exactly what was happening. And the seconds expire off the clock. It looks like we have an injury here on the field, though. The referee will stop the clock with 7 seconds on the scoreboard right now.
Yeah, a few players were tangled up there. Couldn't tell exactly what was happening, but there were at least 2 involved, and it's can't tell who's down.
Yeah, and one thing to note as we head into maybe a possible overtime here with about 7 seconds to go is, you mentioned it before, Justin, 4 overtimes, double overtimes actually, out of the 5 games played by University of Chicago. Only in one of those 4 were they able to score the goal, the go-ahead goal. So the first 2 ties were scoreless against McAllister and St. Thomas, and then the most recent game against Rowan was a 1-1 tie. It was that game against Hope where the Maroons were able to score just in the last couple of minutes of double overtime, where they were able to get the 3-2 win. But if we head into it for this one, UChicago certainly with a little more experience playing in double overtime games.
Exactly. You'll see Ferrara there getting help off the field from the trainers. It looks like maybe has an injury on his right leg there. But as we were talking there a couple minutes ago, tension seemed to be running high between the coaching staffs down on the field. Some words were exchanged between head coach Pat Flynn and one of the assistant coaches in Wheaton College's coaching staff. But I think it's important to note that going into this, it's going to be a chippy overtime period here. I think we'll see the fouls start to rack up. Referee issuing cards in this first couple halves, but I think fouls will be running fairly high as the physicality goes up with the energy.
5, 4,
but
3,
like you said,
2,
Abram,
1,
UChicago coming
0.
in with the experience here. I think that that's going to be a big advantage for them here, as they've been experienced playing in these 110, 120 minute contests
the second half,
here.
our score at the end of regulation, Wheaton won and Chicago won.
Yeah, and
at this time we have a 5-minute intermission
to
period,
note at the same time is when I just said we would, University of Chicago not able to score and take the lead, but more importantly, they didn't let up any more shots either. All 4 times when they went into double overtime, they've either tied or they've won. They've yet to lose a game in double overtime. So they've got the advantage, certainly, as they head in here. We've got about a 5-minute intermission as we look to start this first overtime period. But we do want to take just a second and go over the upcoming games for both of these teams while we have the time. After this game concludes, the Thunder will face off against Wash U, and then we will go over to Lake Forest and play away over there. Our first conference game will be on the 28th at Elmhurst, and then we'll start our conference schedule facing off against North Central, Illinois Wesleyan, Augustana, Carroll before we have a break against University of Wisconsin-Whitewater, and then face off against Milliken, Carthage, and North Park. So we've got a little bit of an intermission here. We want to thank you for sticking with us, and make sure to stick with us throughout this overtime period. We'll take a quick break on the Wheaton Thunder Sports Network, and we'll be back at the start of the first overtime.
my name is Rob Ribby, and I'm director here at Honey Rock, and I'm excited to talk to you about Advance Camp. Advance Camp is one of the most unique and powerful programs at Honey Rock, and it is at a critical time for young people between junior high and high school, and helping to equip and prepare them to manage that significant transition. It's a 3-week program that has a wilderness trip, some significant in-camp experiences around our activity areas and Bible studies, and then thirdly has a significant service component. The whole goal of the program is to prepare them and help them understand who they are and how they can stand for Christ and live in healthy and whole ways as they enter the significant years of high school. I think it is one of the best investments you can make at this important time in their lives. We hope to see you next summer. God bless.
And we are back live here inside Joe Bean Stadium. We're getting ready to start this first overtime period. Score knotted at 1-1 between the Thunder and the Maroons here at Wheaton College. And Justin, let's take a quick minute to go over some of the stats in this one before we start this overtime period.
I think the most important thing that stands off on the stat sheet is just the shot difference, with UChicago taking 26 shots, 13 of those being on goal, and then Wheaton only taking 12, with 6 of those being on goal. The Haston Biddlecombe, we've said his name 1,000 times tonight, has just been absolutely lights out in this game, making 12 saves and only conceding that 1 goal. But Kat Simpless has also been tested here in this second half, making 5 saves of his own. So we'll see how this period goes. As we enter our first period of extra time, there will be a period of 10 minutes here in this first overtime, and if that remains scoreless, then we'll go into a second period of overtime. That's 10 minutes. Penalty kicks will not be played. If we go through both of these periods scoreless, this will end at a tie.
And obviously the Thunder don't want to tie in this one, but I'll tell you who wants to tie less, and that's the University of Chicago. A tie here would bring their record to 2-0-4. So we'd have double the amount of ties that they would wins, though they hadn't lost yet still.
Good flick there from Spicchiotis, not able to catch out one of his own men. Melgar there to deal with the ball. New Chicago here, pushing their entire team up to press.
And Justin, as a former player, how does the tactic, or how does the just way that you approach this overtime period change from, say, a 45-minute half? What does that 10-minute overtime period do to kind of change your approach?
You know, it shouldn't change your approach. There's more urgency, though, and I think, unfortunately, it does change your approach, you know, if you're the less experienced team. Chicago has the advantage because they've been here before, and they have the stamina to deal with these 20 extra minutes. But if you're Wheaton College and you haven't been, dangerous chance, actually, we're going to send this down to the field as Whalen tries to play a ball all the way in. Trying to pick Wingate out here, actually, as it goes all the way through the box, but that ball well cleared back towards Martins. That'll be over the end line. But as I was saying, Abram, you know, you want to just focus on playing smart soccer. That means connecting. You know, when you're looking at the clock and it says only 8 minutes, you have a tendency to want to push the ball fast, but the best thing that you can do is make smart plays, and that involves taking your chances when they're good ones and not just trying to take every chance you can see. So there's a bit of urgency, but also a bit of tactical and mental play here as well. The stronger mental team here will win this second half.
Ball over to Johnson on the near sideline, marked by Martins, and he'll take a second to go back to Lick, and then into the middle. Ball be played all the way back to this back line, and Wada will now have some space in front of him. Whalen looking to charge, but it'll be easily tapped back.
I think one thing that Wheaton does have to their advantage, though, is the energy riding off of this goal that Sapikiotis scored. We see Sapikiotis actually sitting on the ground here, possibly for an injury. The referee not calling that until Moyes clears this ball. Looks like maybe he might be cramping or something as he walks off the field in his own power, but riding that, energy from that goal scored by Sapikiotis, as I was saying, is something that can definitely get under the skin of U Chicago. I think if you fire U Chicago up, causes mistakes to be made, and Wheaton's just bringing that level of physicality that they hadn't been bringing all game. So those are two things that can work to their advantage, even if they don't have the same amount of experience and stamina in these situations.
Well, we've talked about the experience the University of Chicago has as this ball is played in, and Biddlecombe will handle it nicely. But the flip side of that same coin is the fact that the Maroons have never been in a position where they were up and then the score was tied late in the game. As we said, anytime they've been down, as this ball will go back to Ket Simplitz. Anytime that they've been down, they've equalized the score, and then that's what's forced them into overtime. They've never been forced into extra time by the other team scoring a goal, particularly not in the last couple minutes of the game like this one. So Wheaton, while they may be lacking the experience, they've certainly got the momentum in this one.
Yeah, it's almost a smack in the face if you're U Chicago. Wheaton here saying, this is our field, this is our house, and we want to show you how we play in this place here, whether that be physical play, as we see right there. Referee might issue a card here, even.
Let's see, and that'll come after a lot of yelling down from the University of Chicago side. It looks like he will come over and caution. Let's see if it's maybe Dylan Eder.
Has been cautioned.
It will Eder who's cautioned with 6 minutes and 15 seconds to go in his first overtime.
I didn't get a good look at the challenge, but as I was watching, we were having that little conversation, Abram, it didn't look that bad to me. It looked almost like a 50-50 challenge that both people went into, and unfortunately, Chicago caught the unfortunate end of that. But good chance here for U Chicago here to possibly change the momentum. Referee here having a little bit of word with the players here in the big old group on the back post, trying to regain some composure here. I believe this ball's might be tapped short or played all the way in. It's played all the way in. Dangerous ball towards the back post. Good little bit of header, and that ball is over the post. Biddlecombe there covering.
Yeah, I think he had that covered. Looks like replay we're going to see here is the near goal by Missiker Wingate. But I think on that play that we just saw, had that ball been even a little lower, I think Biddlecombe did a nice job of covering up to the crossbar.
Not to say that wouldn't have been a great save, too, by Biddlecombe, but that's also been something he's made a common occurrence in games.
We've begun to speak lightly of it, but for sure would have been an incredible effort. As the ball goes up to Dowling, and his touch is too long. It'll go off the touchline, and it'll go back to University of Chicago.
It's not often that you have a goalkeeper where you can just expect them to make saves that they shouldn't, so...
Ball thrown in here. It'll come to Bloy.
Well defended there by Garoza. That ball goes over the end line for a U Chicago throwing. Garoza trying to get that ball in fast.
Garoza just trying to throw it in, but the referee was pointing the other way.
Sometimes in the chaos of the play, it's smart to just try to get the ball in as fast as possible and hope that the referee just runs with it. Offsides flag will go up as Moyes chases down number 17, I believe that was, Cameron Bloy. Bloy frustratedly kicks that into the wall over there. Not as hard as we saw earlier from Wheaton.
If you're measuring the pace on that one and whether or not to give a caution, that was not quite as strong as the one that Garoza did on this far side that earned him the yellow.
I don't think it helps either that the other side is brick and stone and the metal fence, and he just kicked it into the padding there along the wall.
The sound of impact was not near as strong as now. Ball worked up.
Well defended by Hill. Ball still not found out. Hill with a second tackle there.
Everybody looked to stop as if that one was going to be a whistle. Nothing there, as now the 50-50 ball was won by Wada.
Justin Hill there is showing off his own physicality. It's a bit of a tank there in the back as a center back. Something Wheaton needs here against a physical U Chicago team. DiArgento there getting beat by Johnson as Johnson dribbles. Slow hospital pass there. Finds the onrushing Moyes. Moyes there lays off to Groza, but Groza there not playing a very hard pass himself. Johnson now on the run. U Chicago with 4 players pulled up. Another one on the back post. I believe that's Johnson on the back post who they're going to try to find. Good chest there towards Biddlecombe. Biddlecombe reading this one and then cleared out by Wingate.
Yeah.
That was well defended there by Martins too, as he was beaten initially but got there very quickly.
Yeah, and no, it certainly was well defended, but at the same time, it was certainly scary for a second. The ball came down. Johnson got a chest on it really nicely, brought it right back down to his feet. Looked like he was just going to have a one-on-one with Biddlecombe, but then Wingate and Martins both able to recover and send this one off.
Short throw in here. Cleared out by Edders for a corner kick here.
Chicago, corner kick.
And that was number 17 linking up Cameron Bloy on that initial throw in, trying to just pull that back and open up an opportunity to cross into the box. They'll win the corner kick though, which will effectively do the same thing.
Same duo we've seen all night. Ben Brandt standing over with Vicente Mateus. Mateus, the lone goal scorer for University of Chicago, as we've talked about. Brandt goes in short to Holquist.
Wingate there with a decisive block to snuff out any bit of danger there.
Lick goes over to that far side, back to Wada.
2 minutes remaining here in the first period of extra time.
Wada tries to get it inside. Martins was there, but he lost his footing, and now Eder kind of pushed out, and now we not happy over on the University of Chicago sideline. His play almost stops as the coaches work their way onto the field, but the ball will go back to Kat Simplis. Worked back over to Lick. Lick sends this one up. Wants to get it up ahead to Millington. Millington able to flick it over to Johnson. Johnson has Hill in front of him. Hill has support from DiArgento and also Martins. DiArgento comes over and takes that ball away. A strong play from DiArgento, and now Eder works it up. DiArgento working now towards the middle. His pass will be picked off, but actually misplayed by Modi, and it allows Peter Whalen to recover, but an errant pass will head up and find the head of Gillespie.
1 minute here remaining in this first period of extra time. U Chicago with momentum. Johnson on the back post once again.
1 minute.
Not a great touch there from number 12, Salih Modi. That will give Wheaton maybe an opportunity up top. U Chicago clearing it out. Whalen up to Groza. Groza rather isolated, but cuts in towards the inside. He's got Wingate all the way on the outside if he realizes it. That one not a foul there as Groza just loses his footing.
And now with 36 seconds, U Chicago looking to maybe be what it's a final push. Trying to get this one up to Johnson. That ball will stay in play, and Johnson will recover it right near the end line. Pass it over to Gillespie. Gillespie wants to cross it inside. Eder gets a foot in to clear that one out, but it doesn't go far enough. Holquist recovers with 18 seconds. Holquist curls this one in. One bounce to Biddlecombe, who will cover it up.
And Biddlecombe should just hold the ball as long as he can here.
9, 8,
Uses
7,
the strength of that leg
6,
to just boot it all
5,
the way down.
4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
And so we see the end of the first period of extra time end here with no score.
We will have a 2-minute
It is still 1-1 here at Joe Bean Stadium, and now we'll have a 2-minute intermission before we start this second period. We will stay on the air. And John Mark, what did you see in that first period of overtime that maybe indicated an advantage for either side as we head into this second one?
Well, I liked Wheaton's play a lot, actually. I thought really outside of that first half and that series of corner kicks that Chicago got in that first half, that Wheaton has really been, equaling Chicago in play. They had their opportunities. They had that opportunity from Wingate, and I just think that they're right going toe-to-toe with Chicago. The sixth, I want to keep in mind, the 6th-ranked team in the nation right now. So this is no small feat to be able to tie this team 1-1 and stay with them like this. So I think this could be a real statement. If we can, even a tie or a win would be incredible for Wheaton in this moment.
And Wheaton with a lot of momentum, as well as UChicago showing momentum. This is a very even matchup here through the first 10 minutes of this extra time period. And going into this second extra time period, I think what's going to really, differentiate the teams is who can keep their head. You see, a lot of tensions on the field, and you can hear players and coaches yelling. We see, Coach Pat Flynn for the UChicago Maroons contesting some of these referees' calls, which have been questionable all game long, to say the least. There hasn't been a lot of consistency, I think, in the calling. But regardless of the officiating or not, I think that the team that can play, the simplest, most constructive soccer is going to come out of this, dominating the possession here in the second extra time period. Maybe not necessarily getting the goal, but they're going to look like the stronger team out here. So whichever team can really pull it together here, it's a mental battle at this point as well as a physical battle. But, just as well as physical, you got to keep pushing yourself. So I think if Wheaton can keep their heads about them, they might have an opportunity to pull off an upset here against 6th-ranked UChicago Maroons and rewrite the script that we've seen over the course of the past few years.
And we'll see now. Both teams take the field. We see, as I look here, I think the Thunder broke the huddle a little more enthusiastically than the University of Chicago. The Thunder with their heads up, looking eager to have the chance to stay in this game all the way through double overtime. So University of Chicago, this is just another one of their games that stretches into double overtime, and I'm sure they aren't happy with going double overtime again as they weren't able to finish in this one, but
especially against a team that they had beaten 4-0 at home the year before. This is definitely not doing well to their ego, and they're not very happy about it right now. I think that you can use that to get under their skin, too, as you continue to not be fazed by the physicality and the questionable officiating and just, roll with the game. I think that really gets under the skin of other teams, and that's where the mistakes happen. That's where the opportunities present themselves. And, we saw Spikiotis capitalizing on a wonder strike, an opportunity that resulted from a mistake that was able to be secured by Garosa. But we'll see as the second half gets underway and both teams take their position out here on the field. Wheaton here will have the kickoff. Stafford Dowling stands over the ball. Spikiotis not in this lineup. We might see him here as he's been so decisive in this game thus far, but some players that we can be looking to see quite a bit of here are Wingate, as he remains here in the starting lineup for the second half, or second period of extra time.
Yeah, and ball actually going to go to University of Chicago first, as after multiple loud protests from the University of Chicago side, ball awarded back to them as Lick looks to throw this one in. Sent up into the air, Modi gets a head on it as well, and now Millington goes out to Johnson.
A lot of space on the back post for number 17, that's Cameron Bloy, but cleared forward towards Stafford Dowling, who does a good job of physically just getting himself in there, and it looks like an elbow to the face of DiArgento. Wheaton will win a free kick here.
Yeah, and DiArgento went down pretty hard, and from the exclamations just that we can hear from the stands is it was pretty obvious to what went on over there, and maybe not to us up here in the booth, but looks like the Thunder will take the corner kick here with 9:16 to go, 9:16 to decide this one. And boy, would this be a shot in the arm of this Thunder team if they could win this one to head into the game against Wash U later this week.
That's Gillespie here, who will be cautioned by the referee, getting the yellow card for that challenge against DiArgento.
Now the clock has been stopped, and we'll wait a couple more seconds as it looks like the
Chicago's number 3, Richard Gillespie,
Thunder
has
will
been cautioned.
stand over it. One thing to mention, I don't think anyone's left Joe Bean Stadium, as maybe we've even seen more attendance as people have found out that this game's in double overtime. Still a good amount of fans here to support this team.
Melgar there whiffing the ball, luckily finding its way all the way over to Moyes. Garosa here linking up on that ball, back to Melgar, who chips this ball forward towards Dowling and Galval.
Melgar getting a first touch there, but it also ricocheted off Millington. Ball tried to play up, but nice job by Wada to win that ball away, and now ball tries to send through into the middle. Johnson will get a foot on it, but Melgar comes to sweep that ball away. Deflected, and now ball stays inside the box until Melgar gets a better touch on it and is able to send this one well past midfield.
Wingate here with space to get it forward.
Wada takes it away. And now Wada sends it up to Johnson, and Johnson goes over to Modi.
I like Wheaton's enthusiasm and eagerness here, but they got to be careful not to commit too many men forward there and also commit fouls like that one. Wingate there just catching his mark there on the far side of the field. It'll be a U Chicago free kick. About halfway in between the 18 and the midfield line here.
Ball will be set down. We'll see if we can tell who's standing over this one. I think it's that corner kick duo we talked about, Brandt and Mateus.
We have 3 Chicago players here with height in the box, 6'1", 6'4", and 6'3", and 6'5".
Now we see them take a tumble down as there's a lot of jockeying for position. Ball played towards the far post. There's the mouth. Biddlecombe punches it up. 3 players hit the ground as the ball stays near the box. Dowling able to come down with it. Dowling sends it up to Wingate. And now Wingate alone in open space. Only Lick is in front of him.
It's a 3v3 right now. Wingate with a great play there. Great tackle, though, just to make up on that play. And there's an injury down in the boxes. Gillespie here is still down. But Biddlecombe, dangerous opportunity in towards the box. But Simple is there securing it. And this will be all the way back. Biddlecombe urging the training staff to come out fast, as it looks like Gillespie's in quite a bit of pain here.
And we'll get a look at the replay here on this final chance by Moyes. And Moyes tried to cross it in or maybe get it to Gilvao or else Dowling, but Simplest just able to get over and really off of that break that Mr. Wingate made. He really would have loved to get something on frame there.
And that's so frustrating there, too, because as you can see in the replay there, Dowling and Galvao there had so much space. They were not marked whatsoever. So if that cross would have been a little bit farther out, then we could have seen Wheaton ending this period.
Yeah, and there's 7 minutes and 6 seconds to go in this one. And so there's still plenty of time for both teams, as we saw the Thunder score their final goal in the regular time here, the second half, just a couple minutes before it ended. So certainly 7 minutes, enough time for a lot of fireworks to happen now, as we've continuing the training staff out there on the field. We will just take a second to maybe look at what University of Chicago has coming up as well. And after facing Wheaton tonight, they will be away at Loris and then away at Calvin before they come back home for a 3-game homestand against Kalamazoo, Elmhurst, and Emory. And Emory, that'll be their first conference game of the year. They are, of course, in the UAA, and so they'll face off against Emory, Rochester, Brandeis, and New York University before they see Carthage, Case Western Reserve, Carnegie Mellon, and then finally Wash U. So Wash U, the final game of the University of Chicago regular season. It's the next game up for the Thunder. So as the Thunder look to move on from today, they certainly would be able to draw a lot of momentum from a win here against a very talented Wash U team.
And you'd mentioned that Calvin squad as one of the upcoming matches here for the U Chicago Maroons. That's going to be a hard match for them as well, considering the Calvin Knights made it all the way to the national final, ending up losing that final 2-1 against Tufts in a very well-fought match. The Knights, a team that averaged 4 goals per match this past season, so it's going to be a difficult match for them. This match proving difficult in and of itself here, as Wheaton College has held them to simply 1 goal here, and play will resume here on the field with Cat Simplest all the way in his box. 7 minutes here remaining in the second period.
One thing to mention that just ensued was the University of Chicago coaching staff was awarded a yellow card. They were cautioned, and so the referee, evidently tired of what has been a lot of yelling throughout this game, comes over and gives them the caution. But ball back in play in this one, 7 minutes to decide. Ball played up. Hill trying to get there. Johnson able to race it down. Passing inside. Ball headed in, but Biddlecombe able there to make a stop, and he's going to take an extra second on the ground because that certainly was a great chance for the Maroons.
Yeah, and that one honestly should have found its way in the back of the net, but Biddlecombe with stellar positioning there to keep that ball out of the back of the net. He makes a difficult save look easy.
Eder gets a touch on that one, flicks it up to DiArgento. Now Dowling has some time.
Dowling there with a good Maradona to create some space for himself as he's doubled by some UChicago defenders. He loses possession. Now UChicago on the break here.
Modi takes it away and gives the ball over to Johnson. Now it gets sent back up to the Thunder as Dowling loses control, and now it's Johnson once again. Johnson very active on that far side all night long as he streaked up and down. Now Martin's trying to pass, but instead it finds the feet of Modi, and now the Thunder are lucky that that ball wasn't able to be played through. It'll be Galvao on this near side. Galvao works his way in towards the center, right across the midfield line over to DiArgento. DiArgento now goes out to Wingate. Wingate not seemingly ready for that pass as he didn't start his run until well after DiArgento had made contact with that one. Lick sends that one out of bounds, and now it'll be a throw-in for the Thunder.
I think DiArgento would have been better playing that to the feet of Wingate instead of trying to go for the through ball there. Puts it a lot closer towards the UChicago defender there. A little bit of a push in Wingate's back from, I believe, number 30, Scott Lick there. Draws the foul for the Thunder.
5 minutes and 10 seconds to go in this final period of extra time. It's almost or just about halfway gone. Still no scoring. 1-1. We sit knotted. We see the Thunder maybe setting up for something here as see DiArgento stand over this one. Sends this one in towards the box. Mr. Wingate picking up the rebound and trying to fire off a shot that really actually almost was difficult for Ket Simplis, but ultimately he just lets that one go over the crossbar.
It's funny, that kind of reminded me of a similar shot that I saw, and I believe it was last year in a Liverpool match where a ball like that bounced off the crossbar and ultimately ended up in the back of the net. It's sometimes difficult to read those with these stadium lights as a goalkeeper. But Ket Simplis reading that one well and letting it go out. Eders is dragged down here, and that's definitely got to be a foul against UChicago, and that is against number 17, Cameron Bloy.
Yeah, and that one's inexcusable. They had their arms locked up, and that's just a part of the play, and that's physical, but then he just opted to take him down along with him as Bloy just went to the ground, dragged Eder along.
Melgar there not able to cross that one all the way over, but good little play to get that out to Wingate. Wingate dribbling through, but just tripped up there, not able to make it past his last man. DiArgento now with the ball from Eders, looking for the cross all the way in. That's going to be deflected out. DiArgento finding into the middle. Groza with the ball still, being hung up with the arms, and that's going to be a foul there. After the referee was playing the advantage. Number 6, Ben Brandt there was just using way too much of his arms there, and there's going to be quite a bit of arguing here because that's a dangerous free kick position if you're UChicago.
Yeah, and certainly as you see players and also coaches protesting this call. But the Thunder are going to have a great chance as they're setting the ball down. We'll see. Got a couple Thunder players standing over it. Dowling, Martins, DiArgento. UChicago will set up a wall and they'll be marched back.
If you look at the screen too, you can see some Wheaton College student section fans standing at the top left corner of your screen there, perhaps shouting some things towards the UChicago players too, trying to get inside of their heads. Michael Martins here and will probably take the shot here.
See a little dummy there. Martins comes, tries to curl this one around, and Ket Simplis makes a nice save.
Wheaton's got to get back and get their shape fast. See a replay here fast, though. Martins goes towards the far side there where the wall isn't. Just doesn't get enough to the outside there. Pretty easy save for Ket Simplis there. And number 17, Cameron Bloy, will just miss his touch there. Ball quickly thrown in towards Dowling. Dowling there with a good settle to get that ball out towards Groza. Out to Galvao. Galvao with time and space. Crosses it towards the middle to a wide open. Great save as DiArgento tried to steer that towards the far post. And Ket Simplis showing off his goalkeeping skills himself, trying to match Biddlecombe's display today.
As now the Thunder have the ball, but 1 minute and 45 seconds to go. Moyes now working. The Thunder have to calm down after what was a great chance saved. And now a handball against Eder. Referee going to blow the whistle and make him set the ball back down again, but a minute and a half now.
Wingate there doing good to get in on that challenge. Referee says there's nothing there.
Eder out to Groza. Groza tries to work past his defender, but it's deflected out of bounds, and so it'll be a throw-in for the Thunder with a minute and 15 seconds to go. Here's a final push from both teams. Ball taken away and deflected, but Groza right there to scoop it up. Groza works inside, locks arms with the University of Chicago player. No whistle, as now Bloy working hard, and we see just a lot of physical play.
1 minute. There is 1 minute remaining in the second overtime. 1 minute.
Dowling will set it down and go over to Moyes with less than a minute to play. Moyes now goes over to Gilval. Gilval has some time and some space. Wants to send this ball into the box. Kat Simplis just works his way back and keeps his eye on that one as he is able to hold on it. Now 40 seconds to go.
40 seconds on the clock. Like you said, Abram, tensions are so high here. That ball not able to stay in there from U Chicago. AJ Moyes now with the ball being called back here. 28 seconds remaining on the clock. Wheaton's got to score now if they're going to do anything.
23 now, and Moyes is taking a surprising amount of time to get this one in. He wants to go long with the throw-in, going up to Dowling, but it's headed down by Millington.
14 seconds here on the clock.
Lick sends this one inside. Gets dangerously close to the box. Melgar just has to clear this one out, and they will. Now it's going to depend on where this ball is called, but it won't matter in the end as time will expire as we will see a 1-1 draw here. Both teams collapsing onto the field in fatigue, but certainly a hard-fought game. University of Chicago and Wheaton College playing to a 1-1 tie tonight. University of Chicago moves to 2-0-4. The Thunder move to 4-2-1.
Friday night when Wheaton plays host.
One of the most competitive games, Abram, that I've seen between two D3 sides in a long time. Honestly, I don't think I've ever seen any more competitive than this, unless I was watching the NCAA playoffs. But really well-fought match between the Thunder and the Maroons. The Thunder able to pull off a surprising tie here off of a great goal from Sapikiotis in the final 6 minutes of regulation here. And then both teams with quality chances here in the overtime periods. Great save there with about a couple minutes left on the clock by Kat Simplis off of a D'Argento redirect. So great play here by both teams. I think Wheaton really showed up here after conceding early, and I think that just goes to show the strength of the squad.
And John Mark, anything you saw in those final games that makes you feel good about this next upcoming game against WashU?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the best opportunity that either team had in either of these overtimes was by Wheaton. So I think that this gives you a lot of confidence for the next games, definitely. I mean, to be able to go toe-to-toe with a team of this caliber, I mean, I see no reason why you shouldn't expect Wheaton to do the same in their next game against, another tough opponent.
Yeah, and so that game will be played this Friday against WashU here at Joe Bean Stadium at 7 p.m. Also want you to tune in to tomorrow night's game. That's a women's soccer game. We'll be here on the Wheaton Thunder Sports Network with that one. But we want to thank you for joining us tonight as the Thunder's streak of unbeaten here at home continues. The winning streak stops at 14 games, but the unbeaten streak will continue on past 15. It's a 1-1 draw here between the University of Chicago Maroons and the Wheaton College Thunder. We want to thank you for joining us on WTSN. For John Mark Mills and Justin Majeski, I'm Abram Erickson. Thank you. Have a great night.